Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show, bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Recording live in studio, here's Nick and Matt.
That's right, everybody. Nick said he's taking this intro, and I just cut him off, so go ahead, Nick.
You're good. What's going on, everybody? It's episode 90. Welcome to our weekly Monday night show. We have an awesome show planned for you. Got some great guests. Actually, one of them being in studio. Matt will introduce him. So go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, well, we have a couple in studio. Unfortunately, intern Ben, is under the weather. Enough so that he's not here tonight. But he might be in the chat. I think he said first one to comment gets quesadillas. That's what I'm seeing in the chat right now.
Nice.
So that's Ben.
Nice.
Ben, we miss you. We hope you get better. He said something like, I haven't been sick in 4 years. So we hope the best for him. Let me show you. We got Evan Kearns in studio. Everybody wearing the nice Boston Red Sox hat. How's it going?
And wearing, it's hard to see because it's black on black, but that is a Celtics shirt. Game 7 victory. How about that?
Against
was absolutely insane against the Milwaukee Bucks. I could talk about this all night, but unfortunately for tonight, we are a disc golf podcast. But dude, I could rave about the last two games of the Celtics in that series.
Okay, they played against the
Milwaukee Bucks.
And we have someone in studio tonight. Welcome to the show, Terry Miller, everybody.
What up? How you guys doing?
What up?
It is a true pleasure and honor to have Terry Miller in our studio. He was the first, Terry, you were the first guest on our show ever. And now here we are, episode 90. What have you been doing with your time?
Largely just cashing those royalty checks you guys keep sending in. It's been great. No, seriously, it's of course been really crazy. Disc Golf Pro Tour, working with them almost every weekend. This weekend not being one of them, being a Silver Series event. And if I'm not live with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, I'm probably doing some kind of post-production for some other event. Or in the case of this upcoming weekend, I'm going to be running a B tier, which is something I've done for decades now. So this upcoming weekend, when I'm not involved with the OTB, I'm going to be out running a B tier in southeastern Wisconsin. So there's no shortage of work in disc golf. So I keep finding it.
Well, in fact,
that's awesome.
The reason you're out here in Leicester was not to fly in for the Nick and Matt show. So Terry hit me up probably 2 weeks ago because that's when Steve Dodge hit him up. But that's a different story for another time. And he said, hey, Terry, would you come out as the disc golf guy and film for what Steve threw together as the Maple Hill Invitational, which was a college event for whoever he decided to invite, which included the national champions, the Mizzou Tigers. But do you remember our conversation, Nick, about Ferris State and how that whole disqualification happened?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Steve gave them an opportunity to come back and to compete against each other with the team that would still not be able to compete at nationals because they had that player.
Yep.
Guess who won at Maple Hill after 3 rounds?
Don't tell me Ferris State.
I will not tell you Ferris State. Mizzou Tigers, congratulations.
Okay. So they still took it down.
Yes, and that's a spoiler.
Nice.
I'm sorry, Terry.
Yeah, oh man, now I don't have to edit the footage. It's already done.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll just put this clip out there for the world.
I'll be honest, like I have not a lot of clue on this event. Do you want to give was it like unsanctioned as far as college disc golf sanctioning goes?
Yeah, and originally, so it's very much an invitational, or as we said, Steve wanted to invite those two teams, with that particular, reasoning in mind. And of course, they're just great disc golf teams. But so originally invited them, and then he was looking, I don't want to just say for warm bodies, but I mean, he was looking for anyone that was representing their college that was in the area that would make the commitment. And that's how he ultimately arrived on 8 teams. And the teams were comprised of 4 competitors that were out at any given time. So it was the 8 teams. Also, there was some limitations about trying to get it all into a single day. So everything took place just yesterday. I mean, they had a welcoming dinner and they had, a party and some other things that they could do on Saturday, including getting acclimated and see the course for the first time. But basically, they showed up. They played Sunday morning. They had a format that had them playing the blue layout at Maple Hill. Then they had a lunch. Then they played the diamond layout with more of a doubles format in mind. And then they went to kind of a hybrid of the two, actually, where we saw them play both singles and doubles match play events off the golds. So if you think 3 rounds at Maple Hill in a day is a good idea, you're wrong. Yeah. But it turned out to be a phenomenal event. And even when I hear college age kids say, yeah, that's a long day and a lot of golf, then you know it was definitely challenging, but it turned out to be a great event. 32 competitors, and clearly this might be the impetus of, you know, something so big and so huge as Steve wanted to jump into that college scene.
I agree. I think that dipping his toe in now was the right time. Steve, he probably looked around and said, there's really like one college event and there's room for so much more. And then I have to believe Steve thought to himself, I want to give a chance for Mizzou both to have a chance at saying it didn't matter about the disqualification, and as well give Ferris State the opportunity because of the letdown they had in that journey. So I think it was a fantastic event, great start to it. Terry, I don't know how your legs felt after that round, but I'll tell you what, I was destroyed.
Yeah, certainly a long day, as you guys said, and you guys are much more familiar with the course than I am. I saw new pins. I saw a few different tees I'm not used to seeing, and plenty of challenge, a few rain sprinkles even mixed in there as well, although those were timed out pretty well. It was a long day out there for sure.
That's right.
So what was the what was the prize incentive for this, and how did, it makes me curious of like, do the colleges or the universities pay for travel for these players? Because if this is an event that can eventually gain some really big traction onto it, do we start seeing more of a college disc golf tour to where teams are competing against each other at these kind of tournaments? I'm just kind of wondering, is college disc golf at that point yet, rather than just one or two big tournaments a year for them? Do you think we could see them playing 10 plus tournaments throughout the year? Will colleges or universities pay for the travel for their players? So, what's the incentive behind it? I guess, where did Steve really kind of get this idea of, let's bring some college disc golf tournament here?
I think I kind of mentioned it, but what are your thoughts, Terry?
Well, I feel like he, as Matt just said, he saw what was going on with the collegiate championships and thought, hey, maybe even something a little bit more regional to start. So that was the beginning. And in this case, it was very, I'll say, low budget in the sense that he invited all 8 teams. There was no entry fee. However, they showed up. And huge shout out to Dynamic Disc for this. They were the presenting sponsor of the event. So that ultimately paid for any of the greens fees that would have been required. It provided them the free dinner on the welcoming dinner on Saturday night. Then on Sunday, they had free lunch that was included. And they played for a trophy. They ultimately got a trophy as a team. So there wasn't anything of that value. Oh, I should say also they got a couple of discs and a bag tag, all commemorating the event. Okay. So just for literally showing up, they got an entire prize pack of stuff, which is pretty cool for a player pack. And, it was a relatively basic trophy. But of course they're playing for pride more than anything in this case. And you're exactly right. Like, some colleges, I think there was a wider range wide range in terms of some colleges that showed up and were very organized, had everything. Travel is probably paid for. Some things were taken care of. And I think there's other guys that are like, oh, I think we have 4 shirts that match. And it all has to start somewhere.
Definitely.
I mean, we know college disc golf is at such a different level for so many different colleges, but it's only growing and getting more and more recognized. So I think they're all on the right track, Nick. I think it's only going to get bigger.
Cool. Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. I mean, when you look at the Leicester area, you've got, Assumption College, Anna Maria, Worcester State University, WPI. I mean, you start taking all of your local colleges just alone right there. I mean, you could 4, 5, 6, 7 universities all within a 30-minute range of Maple Hill. You start making, every state starts kind of pulling together. I think some states could have some really, really cool college disc golf tournaments to where, players aren't having to travel that much. The accommodations are definitely a lot easier to go by. And I think it'd be really cool just in the PDGA in general to really kind of promote that. And we'd be able to see, we love watching college football. We love watching the bowl games, the national championships, college basketball. We get March Madness. How do we make these things kind of come into the professional disc golf world of a college disc golf tour / college disc golf championships, rather than just the one weekend, you have this big event. I don't know. There's so much I could go into it, but I do think it's a market. That would be pretty awesome to see. Then you can almost, at that point, you'd find who's your favorite college. I mean, I don't know. I live 30 minutes away from Liberty University, and so I root for the Liberty players to go out and do their best, and hopefully they succeed at their tournaments / their national championships and stuff. So Liberty is my college disc golf team that I root for. But I'm sure if, Worcester State University, they used to have one back in the day, I'd be rooting for them. You know what I mean? Because it's 10 minutes away from my parents' house.
Yeah. I think there's a great opportunity for anybody to get into college disc golf. I think it's interesting because enough players are now coming up and growing up in disc golf that it's like an opportunity. It is there. They can go to college and be like, hey, there's 4 other people who play. So great job to them. That was a fun event that we filmed. Again, kind of brutal running around. You know, Terry, as catch cam especially, you're running down the fairways, up the hills. I mean, I ran up hole, 10 and all these holes. Like, anyways, more times than I wanted to.
Yeah, and my last quick tidbit on that, first of all, of course, thank you so much, Matt. Thank you to Todd Dodge, who came out of retirement from filming, showed up just to help with the event. And then it was ultimately PDGA sanctioned. I think it was ran as an XC this year. I feel like that was also a decision that Steve, felt was important, and he implemented that, albeit a little bit late, but still all part of the overall process. And I think it's great to have those types of things on file and on record now permanently, as the PDGA continues to archive all of that stuff. So huge shout out and congrats to everyone that just got to show up and participate in any way, shape, or form. And thank you to everyone that really made it happen.
For sure. All right, Evan. It's the time of the show where we want to hear about the most recent event. We had a Silver Series called the Masters Cup. I was kind of busy on the course, but we did a little bit, at least me, catch something happening from the chase card in FPO. But you give it to us. Give us the recap for the Masters Cup.
Yeah, so this was played the first 2 rounds at the famous De La Viega disc golf course. The third round happening at the golf course right next door. Gannon Buhr notably takes it down his first Disc Golf Pro Tour event. We all know he came very, very close in Vegas, has been having a fantastic season up until this point, and then takes down his first win. He's 17 years old, new on the scene, and has been doing very well for himself lately. On the other side, Sarah Holcomb gets the win, and as he mentioned, coming chasing down from the chase card, becoming only the second woman to win from the chase card at a major, elite, or Silver Series event. The first being Paige Pierce at 2017 GMC. Funny enough, Sarah Holcomb was leading into that round, but Sarah Holcomb takes it down. This is our 3rd Silver Series win. That ties Lisa Fakis for the most all-time in Silver Series wins in FPO, Ricky Wysocki being the only other one with 3. Ella Hansen had a great tournament. She was leading up until the last round. Unfortunately, Sarah Holcomb and Katrina Allen, I believe, shot 7 down on the golf course.
10-10 rated.
Yeah, they just blew it up. Ella Hansen, I'm not calling it anything, just got beat by some fantastic rounds coming from the chase card.
Wow, a chase card victory. Terry, that's another memory I have with you is Idlewild. You remember, wasn't that Eagles come behind? We were together filming at Idle, or let me put it this way, your crew. I think you might have been doing some commentary, but you hired me and your friend, I think.
Steve, yep.
Steve. And we filmed. I was like, this is amazing. I'm filming a pro tour chase card victory. It was awesome. How often do they reach out to you for that nowadays? I mean, is that probably one of the last, or you think there might be more?
I certainly, you don't see that happen too often. And then you think about, again, logistically, and none of us were there and involved with this particular event in this case, but I think about the logistics of how many cameras, where do we have them? What does that mean? When do we have that conversation all the time? When do you pull a camera off of some card and go after another player?
Is it too
and then
early?
You get to that player and then they cool off,
Exactly.
And there's all these things that can kind of unfold when it's happening. So pretty crazy. Of course, it adds to the intensity in so many ways. And in some ways it also, takes a little bit away from the final card playing the final hole if there's not a really good chance for somebody to actually win or get into that tie on that final hole. It's a little anticlimactic. Well, I don't think Sarah Holcomb's caring about entertainment right now. She's collected her trophy and her check, and congratulations to Sarah. It was pretty cool.
Very cool. She's has the experience that was needed. And I think I just saw a recent post, like right before the show, something about like the year that she went on to win like 2 Elite Series and Worlds, she won Masters Cup. So I don't know if she was trying to do a foreshadowing thing here, but I don't know if I'd pick her. But if there is something to the fact that like if she plays the Masters Cup good, I mean, maybe there's something there. But
well, her last Elite Series win was in 2019 at the Hall of Fame Classic. She's gone a long time without having that elite tier win. Although, like I said, she's won 3 Silver Series since then, a few other decent events since like A or B tiers. Nothing else on tour. She she does a great job at finishing top 5 or on the podium. You have to wonder at an elite event, can she take away the victory? But this was a very good field. I mean, you didn't have Krishna Tatar, you didn't have Paige Pierce, but Katrina Allen was in the field. There was Ella Hansen playing fantastic, and a lot of other very good women in the field.
Second place, and technically tied for second place, was only 2 strokes back. And so Katrina and Sarah did have to put up that good final round to eventually come back. I mean, they beat Ella by 7 strokes on the round. And so it's tough as a competitor at any tournament where, you know, you have the lead on them by, let's say, 5 strokes, and then slowly you're looking at the live scores and they're just creeping up. And then it's, you know, Ella is newer to the tour, not like super new, but she hasn't really been in this position a lot, when Sarah and Katrina are both veterans of the game and know how to really kind of react in these kind of situations. So like Evan said earlier, you know, she did just get beat by, you know, Sarah when it came down to that last round, but kudos to them. Awesome battle to watch. I love watching live scoring when everything's close and it's like, you know, I'm out in Richmond playing my own little B tier, and we're on hole 9. We got a little backup, and so the second we start sitting down, bam, we're checking Masters Cup, and it's like, ooh, Katrina Allen putting together a great round. Ooh, Sarah Holcomb all of a sudden putting together a great round, and it's just really, really cool how far disc golf has come to where we are able to, you know, you're able to watch it live. You know, you watch Ella's card, but, you know, not see Sarah come from behind, and then at the same time you get to watch the MPO on the final day. So it's really cool where disc golf has kind of come to where anyone in the country, you can at least look up the live scoring and see what's going on.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of wrap up and say it's a Silver Series. I'm still finding myself trying to find that balance of how much value I place on it. It had a pretty good field, and I know we're going to move into the MPO side. But I'll say this, a comment in the chat. First of all, someone's asking how it's being on a different podcast, Terry. I'll let you answer that another time. But is that they're saying this happens in golf all the time. And I'm assuming they're talking about the chase card victory. But here's the thing, and I think disc golf will get there as more and more players become the elite. And we're already seeing this. It's tough to crack the top 20. I think we'll see a lot more chase card victories in the future, because you're going to be within a stroke or two, cram-packed at the top, or lots of ties, even through the second or the third card. So I think it will happen more as we continue to progress. That's my opinion, at least.
That also brings up the topic of how many rounds tournaments should be. I think when you have a 3-round tournament, that leads to more chase card victories, which also, in a way, is more excitement. The tour is clearly kind of prioritizing 3-round events. I think it's going to stick like that. You get events that have a lot of people in the mix on the final day. You have a lot of different just stories coming from all these different areas, and that leads to more excitement, where if you have like a 5-round Worlds, which obviously not last year for either division, but 5-round events, you might have someone up 4 strokes going to the final round and then just continue on that lead.
I'm really appreciating the chat right now. So go ahead and give us the MPO side of it.
Yeah, like I said, Gannon Buhr takes it down. His first Disc Golf Pro Tour event, his kind of first any kind of tour status win. Sorry, not event. He's played many. He beats James Conrad and Matt Oram. Those are 2 pretty good guys to beat. Even if it's a Silver Series, those guys can win any event they play. Chris Clemens in 4th. Josh Anthon and Laurie, again, Europeans giving me a hard time. Yeah, Heidi Liney, right? Laurie Lettman rounding out the top 5. Paul Macbeth finishes 7th. That is his lowest Silver Series finish ever. It's not really saying much. It's his only 3rd Silver Series event he's
first
played.
Cut ever, now lowest Silver Series ever. What do we say, Disc Golf World?
Washed up,
yeah.
washed up.
That's exactly what I was waiting for.
He ties Anthony Barilla. A lot of talk about that matchup between Macbeth and Barilla with the BMW.
The BMW is on the line there.
Yeah, Andrew Miranda. Am I saying that correctly? Miranda.
I did see that.
He was the AMSide winner at the Masters Cup, got on the feature card for the first day. I think he had like kind of an okay first round, but then had a fire second round. I believe that one was the 1080 rated round, making a huge splash. You know, I'm watching his forehand. It just looks so clean, and just like he's got that snap. You can tell that just when you see him, you're like, that guy, he's good.
He might be using some snapstick from DG Maxwax. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Could be. You know, he won the AMSide event to that by 12 strokes.
I did not know the amount.
Per round?
Yeah, no, yeah, I know, right? That's what it seems like. It's insane, actually. I mean, he shot at 10:28, 10:19, 10:46 just at the AM side event of it, and then he pops off another 10:80 round at the pro side. So I mean, kid's got game.
Yeah, and my quick little insight, real quick on that, a gentleman who I stayed with at a Masters Cup many years ago, the weekend the Raptor legs were founded, so to speak. Scott Dimmig, who's a local, Santa Cruz gentleman, he had messaged me a couple days before the tournament and said, "Hey, this Miranda kid is really good. He won the AM side. Keep an eye out for him." And then Miranda showed up big time this weekend. And even just last night, as I was scrolling through the scores, thinking like, it's cool to win the AM side, of course, great. Then to come and have a solid performance on the pro side. And then you look at tying for 7th among some of those great players, including Paul Macbeth. And you just think like, what kind of confidence boost is that for you? I mean, you're tying one of the best players in the world, even if he didn't have his best weekend, and you had the hottest round in the entire tournament on Saturday. Yeah, just so impressive. And big shout out to my buddy Scott, who is always keeping things, keeping his eyes and ears open. And he told me to watch out, and he was absolutely dead on. So, and I think Andrew's just 16. Is that what we were saying? And I believe his whole family was out there supporting him during the AM side weekend. It's incredible. Yep. Talk about a future for that young man.
That's ages, man. 17 for Gannon, 16.
Yep.
Yeah. So MVP Open, I don't know if they still do it like this, but when you would win the AM side, you get a spot onto the pro side. And so like I've won it. Other people have won this event. They all go on, they play the feature card the next weekend or whatever. And usually they just blow up. Like I got smoked probably by 12, 13, 14 strokes by everyone else that I was playing on a card with. And it was actually on live coverage. And I'm pretty sure Terry and Dixon Jowers
sounds about right. Yep.
were the ones commentating it. Wow. And so I was kind of like, oh God, this is probably super. Yeah, I know, right? But anyways, this is pretty cool because you have the Masters Cup Anside winner who's actually placing incredible in the pro side of the event. Didn't make a fool of himself on the feature card, then goes, shoots the hot round of the tournament, and then goes and follows it up, ties with Paul Macbeth, Anthony Barella, some all-time greats. And so it's cool. It's fun when you can actually make that AM side winner work out in the pro side of things. And I think as disc golf evolves, we're going to see more of that if tournaments decide to go that route, just with how good young players are getting nowadays.
Well, any other notables, Evan?
I was just going to say real quick, like, I think that's a really cool trend. It's also something that I might not want to see at every single event. I know a lot of people.
I don't want to see it at everyone. Yeah.
A lot of people said it at MVP Open. I feel like I saw, maybe it was him, maybe it was someone else. I don't want to quote, but JVD said that seems like an awesome tradition for Silver Series events. Maybe not every Elite Series event. And I think that would be really cool.
That's actually a great idea.
Yeah, kind of something like that's kind of what Silver Series are meant to be. Kind of showcase.
Because you get the post round coverage.
Yeah.
And I think too, I think about how for many years the AM Worlds winner, I feel like, was one of the on the final cards for the pre-feature card, but for USDGC. AM Worlds winner often was going off, whether it was the noon or 12-10 or whatever the first round was, for the USDGC in terms of kind of an elite picked card. I feel like that was something that was done many, many years ago, or the USADGC winner or whomever it was is usually a top amateur that was then matched up with, the previous USDGC champion or the, Pro Worlds champion. So that thought process has been around for a while, and now it gets more divisive week in and week out as to who should or shouldn't be featured. I just had a funny conversation with Simon about that, but that's for another day. But feature card's certainly a interesting conversation piece.
And with the trend of Elite Series events, live coverage, you have so many feature cards. Essentially, you have a gatekeeper card that goes out pretty early in the morning. Then you have really 3 live feature cards, and one of them being the Jomez feature card as well. So it doesn't necessarily need to be the last card that features this person. It could be the noon feature card, or it could be a secondary one.
I just thought of maybe it's a good idea. I was just going to proclaim, I've thought of a great idea. We always bring up like, oh, that's a good topic we should do sometime. We should break that down more another day. We need somebody in the chat or somewhere else to do like a Google spreadsheet for us. And every time we say that, just write down what that topic is. So we just have something to fish from.
This is why we have an intern.
I know he's
intern Ben.
He's sick in bed.
I know
right
he's sick
now.
right now,
I mean, yeah.
but this is something that he should
still
be
use a
jotting down
computer.
while doing
That's
the
right.
show. You know, we don't throw him up on camera too often. We gotta, you know,
That's true.
He makes,
So-
he makes
Keyboard
real
isn't
good money
sick
with
unless
us.
it's got a virus.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
to work, Ben.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah,
I think-
he makes good money with us. We got to put him to work.
He says he doesn't want to be paid, which I don't believe, but we'll see.
He gets paid in jerky.
Okay, we have like, if you could give us like the minute or two version, which I think you're pretty good with time because you do live commentary, but give us the minute or two version. We got a super chat. We don't always do this, and we don't try to ignore our super chats either, but ask Terry about DGN Live in Europe this year and the future. That's from D. Lillo. So if you have any thoughts on that.
Shout out D.
I don't know if you're asking about if it's happening or what the deal is.
I don't know.
Just know that the quick minute version is, for starters, the 7 to 8 to 9 hour time difference can obviously pose quite a challenge. I know later this year we're doing the PCS Sula Open, which means we start our commentary around midnight, which is perfect for me, the night owl. I don't care about that. I know everyone else will have a problem with it. So stateside, that is one of the big challenges. And then the European Open, I believe, is planned to be either 3 or 4 rounds, probably all 4 rounds. Will be covered live. Same idea whether I'm starting at midnight or 2 a.m. or 10 p.m., depending on if I'm in Bend or somewhere else, whatever studio I'm in, if I'm involved with that one. I don't know. But anyway, so the timing, it's goofy timing, of course, for everyone that's stateside, which is most of the crew. I mean, we have the production, the commentary. We have all those people that are 7 to 9 hours behind. Is it going to continue to be a thing? I can't imagine that it wouldn't be. So I would think it would be. I guess we'll have to see too. I mean, let's be honest. If viewership isn't there and it's not overwhelmingly received in terms of actual viewers, I guess we just have to value, do we care about the European viewers and those counts, or do we care about the stateside viewers and those counts that usually come along with it? Both are very passionate fans. It's just a matter of, what do the numbers look like? And as always, I'll end it with, that's way above my pay grade. I won't make any of those decisions, but if you need me talking at midnight, I'll talk disc golf for 9 hours straight.
Right.
No problem.
And in a
Sounds
very,
good.
very,
And I'll watch it.
Yeah. And in a very, very serious way. And maybe I'm wrong, Terry, but you were there at the birth of live disc golf. So, I mean, you have an opinion on how it was done. Why don't you just write a book about it and give it to the European crew, and then maybe they can just take it and run with it. But in all seriousness, you're right. Passionate fans both places, but how do you make it work where it makes sense?
Yeah.
All right. We've reached this point where I want to do some discussion here about not DG Max Wax. This is Disc Golf Hempfield Botanicals. That's not actually the name, not Disc Golf Hempfield. It's Hempfield Botanicals, but I use it for my disc golf needs. In fact, let me get this quick story and then I'll let Nick talk about it. After yesterday's rounds, Terry, I was feeling extremely tight, achy, everything from the heel to the calves to up to my knees. And I took out this, what they call the everyday muscle recovery. And I just squirted it all over my legs and lathered it. Not lathered. It's like a lotion. It's a CBD lotion cream. And it started feeling amazing. Almost as if I got the dream that I wished would happen when I said, I want to dunk my legs in an ice bath. And it started to feel like that. I am very happy with the product, including the salve. The salve, I applied it to some of my joints that I think I might have overworked in my ankle, possibly. Yeah, I sound like I'm older than 37. I get it, but it is what it is. These products are working for me, including Nick's favorite, the chapstick. I don't know if it's his favorite anymore. Tell us how you've been using Hempfield, Nick.
So I've been using it in actually a lot of different ways now because I'm doing a lot. I'm either playing disc golf on the weekends. I'm working on a disc golf course. I'm also working with my apparel company. So I'm sitting down a lot. Even with the podcast right now, I don't have a super comfortable. I'm actually sitting on a camping chair right now.
It's beautiful.
And yeah, we're making moves on it, but the stuff is actually right over there. And so I used it right before I got on the podcast because I know I'm a sloucher and my body gets sore by the end of it. And so actually right before the podcast, I put some of the stuff that you were just talking about and I put it right on the back of my neck. So hopefully I won't be feeling any tenseness in my neck. But no, I use it pretty much every single day now, especially with how active I've been in the disc golf world. And it's been working awesome. I don't have to, throw down ibuprofens anymore like they're candy, which is a great feeling because I know that's probably very, very, very bad for you. So, and then on chapstick, as the weather gets nicer, your lips get dry and you want to not bleed everywhere. And so there you go. Chat
You don't ever want to bleed everywhere. I want to say this. I've been thinking about this. I was working, driving around, using this product, and I thought to myself, how do I get Nick and Matt show listeners to get this and use this and to find out what the hype is with Hempfield Botanicals? And I said, whatever you're purchasing right now, either when it runs out or now, and just so you don't run out ever, use the code Nick and Matt over at Hempfield. Make that consideration right now. Show them their sponsorship of us was worth it and get a good product. You get 20% off using code Nick and Matt. Evan, any thoughts on it before we close it out?
Yeah, I'll just say, I played around with you on Friday, Matt. If you guys weren't following on Instagram, right. Matt had a fire round, by the way, shot even on diamonds.
Fire, baby.
And I did a
that was supposed to be Matt Fire.
Wrong person. I did a hike up some stairs.
I got second.
At a reservoir near my house, and my calves were burning. And then Matt was like, "Let's play disc golf." I'm like, okay. And you better believe my calves were feeling it. I was stretching by like leaning over like 2 degrees. Just like the minor movements were just massive stretches for my calves. I put this on. It felt great.
It does feel great. In fact, have you ever used like an icy hot? I know this is separate from Hempfield, but I'm going to open up the conversation for it. Let's all divulge, because I don't use a lot of that like icy hot stuff, but I've been using this. And I found that when I start feeling that cooling feeling, and if you have like clothes on that portion of your body, or let's say I was sitting in my lazy boy and my legs were resting on the cushion, it feels extremely cold. Is it like a pressure thing or a contact thing? It's different than just sitting there. I don't know how to explain it. Anybody? Am I weird?
Well, you are, but I don't think that's exclusive.
That's not part of the topic. We'll talk about that in the scare discussion. Is Matt weird?
And now, for a Nick and Matt Show exclusive.
Matt is weird. All right.
Nice. I just do whatever Shaquille O'Neal tells me.
Right.
So if he tells me to go with if Shaquille O'Neal says go with the icy hot, then I got to trust what Shaquille O'Neal says. I mean, that guy's a genius or somple.
Okay, see, I say this live, one, because I'm crazy. I'll say it live on air and wish I could just swallow my words back. And maybe we'll ask Terry about that later if that ever happens to him. But then I know the chat's going to come through. And someone said like pressure always makes it better. And I don't know what they mean by that, but it definitely makes it colder. I don't know how to explain it. All right, we're waiting here for our guest to arrive. And if he's smart, he will be fashionably late. Okay, and that's how I would do it. I'd be like, hey, I just won a Silver Series. But we're waiting on Gannon Buhr here to show up. As soon as he does, we'll bring him in. And so let's do this.
I believe he just started his routine. So once that's complete,
oh my goodness,
then he'll be joining us again.
God.
So when you're ready, we'll be here for him.
That's right. We'll be here.
Call on 30 seconds.
I got some stats to drop.
Do
if
it.
You guys want to hear them.
I want to hear them. Yes.
So we all know Gannon Buhr is young. But how quick is he to win a major, elite, or Silver Series kind of since starting the game? So he first cashed on September 27th, 2020, and then won his first Silver Series on May 15th, 2022. That is a difference of 595 days. Do you guys think that's the quickest ever in FPO?
No.
So we did the stat with FPO earlier, right? Like someone beat.
Yeah, Stacey Haas did it earlier
Katrina.
This year.
Okay,
Stacey
so this
Haas
is the MPO version.
Still has the record. That was
Maybe.
266.
Okay, but this is maybe the MPO version.
And this is MPO.
This is a precursor to stat or fiction.
Yeah, kind of getting the stat or fiction already.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I think that's the first. Who would have been closer? Do that.
Ricky.
I think Terry's got to know the winner.
Yeah, the only other two people that have to come to mind would be more recently would be Kyle Klein and the very quick adaptation he had from amateur into pro and everything that he's done. And then also, of course, Ricky Wysocki. I mean, I was there when he won Worlds in 2010, the Junior Worlds. And then fast forward, a year to 2011, the special USDGC year where it didn't happen. And we had the Players Championship that took place at the IDGC, the same place we just had the Players Cup. And then Ricky took that down, and he's all of like 17 or 18 or whatever he is at the time, 18, maybe 19, whatever. The Ricky Wysocki would have to be my guess for that, and I'm honored to say I was there for both of those victories.
Wow, I don't have a guess.
Am I right though? I guess
you're
it doesn't
correct.
matter.
And I know Nick, you also said Ricky Wysocki, so I'll give you some credit. But Kyle Klein and Ricky Wysocki.
I read your tweet earlier.
Oh,
Did I tweet that?
Someone
Like,
someone
you
tweeted.
did.
You were saying like it was like 24 events. Someone tweeted it on
yeah,
Statman. I'm pretty sure.
No, that's PGA stats. He was doing some quickest by events, and this is by date difference. So same idea.
Gotcha.
Though.
Well, all right.
But it's gonna.
Then I got lucky.
It's generally going to lend to similar answers. So Kyle Klein did it in 532 days, and again, Gannon Buhr did it in 595. So about 60 days quicker for Kyle Klein from when he won. Silver Series. So that was Mid-America last April. And then Ricky Wysocki was 441 days. First cashed in July 11th, 2010, before winning the Players' Championship in September 25th, 2011. That was the quickest Ricky Wysocki MPO or FPO before Stacey Haas took down the Silver Series and had 266 days. Also notably, Paige Pierce did it in 447 days and Katrina Allen in 553. There's also kind of another category to continue this on is just first pro event at all. So it could be someone like Andrew Miranda, who might be refusing cash to stay as an amateur. So first pro event at all playing in the MPO division for Gannon Buhr, that was July 28th, 2019. So that is 1,022 days. The only people to do it quicker is Kyle Klein at 1,010, Nicola Castro and Kyle Crabtree at both 1,002, and then Ricky Wysocki at 869 for MPO.
Those are some stats, and we have him in our virtual green room listening to those, and we're going to welcome him to the show now. Welcome to the show, Gannon Buhr. How's it going, man? Oh,
Gannon?
Hold on. Say that again. Say, how's it going, guys?
How's it going, guys?
Perfect.
There you go.
This is intern Ben is not here to run the show for me, and I'm slouching now on getting like audio set up. This is the first time we've ever had 5 up on screen. First time in the Nick and Matt show. So there's a first time for a lot of things tonight. But we've got Terry sitting next to Gannon, sitting next to Evan, and me and Nick, and here we go. So Evan, see, I'm all stuttering now. Gannon, fantastic first DGPT win. That's something I'm sure you're proud of. How did that moment feel like in that moment? And now we're 24 hours later. How do you feel about it now?
It's still pretty crazy to think about it, that I can, compete at the highest level and take one of these down. It makes me so happy to see all this hard work I've put in pay off. And even through my ups and downs, I was able to power through and get the win.
You've been in this position now a couple times, whether you're competing for the lead, you were in a playoff over at Vegas, you took down this event. We've seen just a massive improvement going from last year into this year. And you're talking about all the hard work that you've had to put in to get to this point. What hard work are you putting in? What are you working on the most? What if you were to tell some kid right now to go out and practice, what are you telling them to go practice?
Obviously putting, continue to practice putting. I've worked over the off season. I had trouble, I know last year, making circle 2 putts, even though my stats were pretty solid. Already through this year, I feel a lot better from circle 2. I always had I was always really solid inside circle. I think I was top 5 last year in the world for circle 1 percentage. And then this year I'm around the same, I think, but circle 2 has improved a lot more, even with it being windier and, the courses being a little harder. The thing I think that I've most improved on and what's helped me save strokes is my driving. I think the people who finish the highest are the ones that have the best circle 1 in regulation, or even circle 2 in regulation. So you're getting in those opportunities to get the birdie putts and stuff. And if you're already a good putter, you can capitalize on those and get further under par. But you can notably see even my scramble rate, my bogey rate's a lot lower. Playing smarter, playing safer, just kind of analyzing the shots and really taking into account the different variables of the course.
Okay, and I'm on the Gannon Buhr train. When you almost had the first win there in Vegas, I was on another disc golf show and this show saying I expect to see many worlds out of this guy. Many being a strong word, but at least 1 or 2. And to be clear, you've had some, but not in the MPO division. So we'd like to see. Yeah, no, it's obvious. So what does a win like this that you just had at Silver Series, a great field, the competition was pretty high. What does a win like this do for you with your goal in mind of wanting to win the Elite Series? Does it change anything for you? Is your mindset shift? Is it just experience added? How do you view that for going forward?
Yeah, I think it's just, it comes down to, just being able to stay consistent at the top level. I think being in these situations over and over again have really helped me, be able to compete at this high level. And, I haven't been doing a great job this season of being in contention to like win and, within like the final couple holes or something like that. I've had a lot of top fives and top tens, everything except for 2 events, I think. So I think, I just want to be in contention more. And I think that's kind of my goal moving forward, is just start really solid in the event. That way I can have a chance coming down the stretch and not have to like, just battle back and take like, 4th or 5th. Even though those are super solid finishes, I obviously want to, try to win these events. And that just comes down to making fixing a couple mistakes per round. And I think my goal is probably just to try to, maybe get 1 or 2 Elite Series events, with, pretty funny. Like, I've never been to Santa Cruz and never played this course before. I flew in on Wednesday after going to school on Tuesday. And then I just had like 1 day of practice on each course. And I actually didn't even practice hole 18 at the golf course because I was too lazy to, because we were so gassed from the like 4 hours in the plane, like the worst plane seats I've ever had. So to be able to get a win like that, like getting like minimal practice, I think I can, I believe that I can take down another event on, a course I haven't played, like the OTB Open this upcoming week.
Talk to us about the course in and of itself. I mean, De La Viega, the Santa Cruz Master Cup has been such an ongoing tournament and such kind of, it's one of the few, I think, technically par 3 courses. If it might be the only par 3 course actually that is on the tour nowadays. Talk to us about, just competing at the famed De La Viega course and then going over into the golf course.
Yeah. So going into De La Viega, I talked about like my, post-game or post-round interview that my game didn't feel good, and that combined with like just flying in, being all cramped in a plane, and coming to that course, my game felt really terrible, and I didn't feel good coming into the event. On top of, I hate par 3 courses. It's like my least favorite thing in disc golf, is because it doesn't give you an opportunity, if you throw a bad drive, to get an up and down, which it can bring a lot more competition into play. And I was talking with Josh Anthon about that. Sometimes he has trouble keeping up on these longer courses, but something like this he can keep up on, because he can reach every hole out there pretty much, unless it's like I-5 or any of the crazy par 3s. But the course is like one of my favorites. It's very unique. There's a lot of history. It's super fun. But in terms of tournament play, it's just not my favorite, because if you don't start strong, you don't get a couple birdies to begin with, or even if you get like 1 bogey, you almost feel like you've lost. It's so tough to come back when a lot of the holes are just super tricky and tight lines. But I was able to kind of capitalize on my good drives there. And then going into the golf course was a pretty easy switch. After the second round, I went out with Gavin Babcock and my caddy, Mark Anderson, and we got a golf cart and we drove the entire golf course just to look over it one last time, to kind of assess the landing zones that I wasn't comfortable with. A lot of the greens out there have OB golf greens and sand traps right next to the holes. So we went out there and kind of scoped out the course and kind of noted where I wanted to land on every par 4 and par 3, and just kind of dialed in the game plan. I think that really led me to my success.
Nice.
Wow, that's fantastic. I'm over here off camera, like shaking my head in amazement. Like, I'm going to jump right to it. You're 17 years old, correct?
Yeah, I just turned 17.
You can only know what you know and have experienced this far, but are you aware, or what level of awareness do you have, that your journey to where you are and what you have already accomplished is extraordinary? Like, how aware are you of that at 17 years old? Because I'm trying to fathom it myself.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's different for me, because like I see myself as just another pro on tour. The age doesn't matter to me. Even though it's super cool to be like the youngest player on tour that is competing for these wins. Obviously, we have a couple more people coming up and a little younger than me, even they're on tour. But I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy in that. So.
Yeah, it is crazy. So welcome. I mean, we've been following you for a while, especially when I was running kids disc golf, just watching you as a junior and all that you've accomplished. But it's just incredible to hear 17 years old. And I find myself thinking, how can you know what you don't know? But you're only 17 and you're doing amazing things.
Yeah. Yeah. And
sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say, I think like just being friends with like a lot of the like, top pros out here too, kind of like makes me feel older, I guess. So that's
Okay.
another like reason that I guess it just doesn't, I feel like it's a great accomplishment no matter how, how young of a player you are. But obviously like being, this young and competing at this high of a level is, I see it, it's a great accomplishment. That's really what drives me to keep playing, is knowing how long I have so much time left in this game, and getting started good early is really important. I feel like.
How old were you when you started? About?
Disc golf?
Yeah.
I was like 10.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I was going to say, I've been playing about as long as you're alive. And then I thought you might say, I've been playing as long as I'm alive. But,
Yeah.
Okay. So 7 years. Nick, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, what part of your game right now, as we see, now we're going to OTP Open. It's a lot bigger of a course. You're obviously very strong on the golf course style of disc golf, but what part of your game right now do you feel like needs the most work?
I think I just need to quit jacking with my form. After DDO, I was trying to like find some more distance, just because. I mean, why not? I ended up like messing my timing up really bad. I think I just need to, now I know I don't have to change anything in my game. I've been trying to copy what players do for distance, like Eagle, and just studying his form, and it just doesn't work for me. I've tried everything, ends up messing my form up. But I think just realizing that my game is good enough the way it is and how I play, that I don't need to change anything. I just need to keep practicing, and the distance will come with time as I get stronger and get older, and I'm able to put a little more weight on. But the rest of the game, I think, is just going to come with time, and that's something that's kind of frustrating at points, at times. It's just knowing that my body, I guess, isn't at its full potential right now, and that's just due to my age. But being obviously tall and skinny helps. I think playing disc golf, but I'd like to, be a little stronger.
Yeah. And so in follow up to that, because that was something I was intrigued by, you saying that you're working on your form. Thank you for answering that without being asked. That was wonderful. My follow up to that is, do you have anybody that's working with you as a coach or a mentor in disc golf that's saying like, let me watch how you're throwing. Let me see you're wanting to change it. Let me help critique that. Or is this all on your own?
I'm my own coach. I just film myself in my basement. I'll screen record videos from like Joe Mez of players throwing, like when they have like a bomb or something. Like if Eagle throws down like a massive just air shot, I'll be like, okay, let me screen record it, go frame by frame by frame, put it next to my form, frame by frame, and kind of see what our differences are in our game and our forms. And I've never ever had a coach. I've always been self-taught just off YouTube videos alone.
Okay. And I want to open this up to everybody. Terry, the interview master is here in studio. I don't know if you knew that was the case tonight, Gannon, but he's here. I'm going to open this up to Evan or Terry or whoever. Go ahead.
I'll just start with one. Gannon, first of all, of course, congrats. It was awesome. I remember being there watching that epic battle and that playoff that took place a few months ago at Las Vegas. So to see you come back out on a golf course, nonetheless, to take it down, congratulations. So, but my question would be, first one is, to transition from the De La Viega course, we talked about that being the par threes, the style that it is, and then, for 2 rounds of it, rollaways, all these, possible things that can happen, and then to go out to the golf course, just an entirely different game. And of course, you said you weren't that familiar with either course when you arrived in Santa Cruz, but what were some of the physical or mental transitions you were making in your own head when you transition from Saturday night into Sunday's play and going just to a totally different course? And then the follow-up to that long question is just, do you like playing multiple courses for the same event?
Yeah. So I'll answer that question first, actually. So I feel like I do prefer playing different courses because it allows players that made mistakes in like previous rounds, they're not able to correct it on the same course because we don't play again. Like Las Vegas, obviously we had a chance one time to improve our scores on the Innova course, but that's it. We played 3 different courses in Las Vegas, and I felt like every time, I think a lot of the top pros, the reason they're so good is because they correct off the mistakes they made the previous round. And I think that it helps me out just against the field, because to me, it's just a disc golf shot. It's just, you find your game plan, you see the shot, don't think too much about it. If you can just hit your line, hit your angle, you're going to be able to score good on any course. And what was the start of that question?
Well, I guess that kind of transitions to the idea of, do you take that mentality and think, do you pull up your inner Eminem and think, I got one shot, one moment, one chance when you head to the golf course on Sunday, because you just had one take at it and that was it. That was the one round you were going to competitively play on Sunday. So how did you mentally shift your focus from the wooded De La Viega regular course into the golf course?
Yeah, in a way, for me, they're kind of similar. You pick your line. There's lines that are there that you have to hit. Obviously, the golf course has more open shots, so you're allowed to air it out a little more, which just makes me a little more confident. There's not as much risk, and I tend to not take as long on the drives. I feel like at more open courses that don't have much punishment, I guess. But I think, they're very similar in my head and how I view it. It's just a course. You're just trying to get from the tee pad to the basket in the least amount of strokes. Par doesn't matter. Nothing matters. It's just you need to beat your competitors based off of that. So I think, just seeing the line. I've struggled in the past, and even last year, and sometimes this year, on the 2 events that I finished around 25th place, my worst 2 finishes. I struggled with worrying too much about what can go wrong, instead of just thinking on how to do the shot. Instead of like, oh, am I going to miss or make this putt? I'm like, okay, where do I want to aim to make the putt? It's like to shift the mentality that way, to make the game just feel a little bit easier.
Now, I'm just going to ask one follow up to that. As you're talking about prepping and routines and just transitioning and getting things ready, we wouldn't be doing our job, especially me as a commentator. I'm, of course, the first to admit that from time to time, I will make a light joke or reference to the timing in which sometimes you've taken. And you've said it yourself. I know it was around the All-Star break. You were asked about your time and you said that's something you're really working on. Do you feel an internal clock or do you feel any pressures when you are getting ready for your shots and how are you continuing to kind of address or combat that?
Yeah, so it's still something I'm working on. I thought I fixed it around the All-Star event time, but just when the pressure's on, it's really tough. I think. Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Well, I guess the question is do you know that there's times where you definitely exceed the 30 seconds? And then if so, what are you doing? What are you trying to do to I'll say address it? Because you've been even warned. And clearly the last thing you want or any competitor wants is extra strokes to be tacked on. So what are you doing to, possibly find a way to, address it or combat that?
Yeah, there's definitely I do have an internal clock. I know I've heard Nico talk about he doesn't even realize he's taking that long.
Mm-hmm.
That happens to me, a good bit of the time, I feel like, where I'm like, was that really that long? But I do acknowledge I'm a slow player and it's something I'm trying to fix. But as long as I stay within the limits, it's completely fine. There's a lot of other slow players on tour that are still within the time limit. But there are some points, especially so I get up. A perfect example would be I get to my lie, I do my routine, I'm about 15 seconds in, and it's mainly just on the putting green. I feel like driving maybe a little bit, but wind picks up, and then I'm like, oh shoot, I want to wait for it to die down or for it to calm down a little bit, and I reset. At that point, I'm already 25 seconds, and then it's okay, you got to throw right now. And I've rushed a couple shots like that, and it's really frustrating. That's my only word I can say is it's so makes me so angry, just knowing that I was almost about to throw, wind picks up, and then I'm like, okay, you got to throw now. And I've rushed shots, thrown OB, missed putts like that. So I'm very aware I do take long, and I'm still something I'm working on. I think I asked my caddy how I did with my time this week, and he said it was better. So hopefully I can continue to improve that.
Now, this may sound like a silly question, but it might not be depending on what your answer is. But would you be in favor of extending the kind of shot clock by 15 seconds, or are you happy that it is at 30 seconds? It's just windy situations. Don't get me wrong. Everyone's going to play a little bit slower in the wind or in the rain or anything like that. But if you're on, just a regular disc golf day, are you in favor of, let's say, making it a 45-second shot clock or keeping it at 30?
Yeah, I just think I personally think there shouldn't be a time limit. it's like no one's gonna like willingly take purposely 2 minutes on a wide open shot. You never really see that happen unless it's like crazy circumstances or you just have a mental lapse. I feel like, or you're in the crazy woods. I mean, I've seen players. I had 3 players on my card one time, and they took like actually 8 to 10 minutes to get out of the woods on this one hole at Tallahassee, and it's just like we get in those situations. I feel like if you take the rule away, there's just so much negativity and bad things that happen with that rule, and you can kind of argue whether it's a pace of play rule or just a common courtesy. Like, we're not trying to purposely take long to make people mad. Like no one does that. No one does that to get in their head or anything. It's just like we throw until we're comfortable. And I feel like if you take that rule away, just so much negativity goes away, and there's nothing for people to get angry about because no one's really going to take super long anyway. So if you get rid of that, rule, there's a lot of controversy and stuff like that kind of eliminates itself. And I think that even with the rule with them taking away like the whole distractions thing, I've had some pretty like terrible distractions with cars, driving a couple feet from me, like when there's no one, like even like hole one yesterday. And happened to James too. There was a lady walking 3 feet from him, but he could stop because you're not allowed to do that anymore. So yeah, I think either just take it away or maybe add like 15 seconds to it. But it's just a lot of drama right now in the disc golf world, I feel like.
Yeah, quick little follow-up question to that. What are your practice rounds like? You're obviously, I'm assuming most of your practice rounds you probably play with buddies of yours. Maybe not. Maybe you play a lot of solo ones. But what are your practice rounds like in the sense of, do you feel like you're taking a long time on specific shots or anything like that? Or do you kind of cruise through your practice rounds?
Yeah, practice rounds, I just walk up and chuck. Like I'm someone who just takes I throw a lot of shots in practice. So sometimes even I know at Dale a lot of a couple shorter holes, I have like a stack of like 5 to 6 discs in my hand, my left hand, and I just stand there, grab the disc, throw. And to get the rep in and see the line, I'm not trying to take my time, I think I can take my time when I'm in the moment and then really, really dial in the line. But, putting that's why practice putting is easy, because I feel like when you have a bunch of putters and you finally see the one go in, all you gotta do is copy the line. It's super easy. So practice rounds, I fly through them. I throw a lot of shots, but I fly through them, and I like playing with friends in practice rounds. Playing solo is kind of boring. It's it's also I think bad to play solo rounds sometimes. I guess just not for anybody else, but just for me, because I think it's good to bounce ideas off other people and see do I want to land in this landing zone or here, or what's your opinion on how to putt in this wind, and what's the highest percentage shot you can make.
Yeah, agreed. I guess one more comment to follow up on all of this, but your last 2 shots of the tournament, I think you took a total of 10 seconds per shot. I mean, you had about an 80-foot up shot to kind of lay up for par, and then maybe a 10-foot putt at that point. But it was just funny, 2 of the most pressure-filled shots there. You stepped right up, bam, put the mini down through it, and then walked up to the other one. I think you picked up the same disc and just putted it right in. So, kudos to you. I mean, obviously, huge congrats on the win and everything like that. And I think time issues in disc golf will slowly fizzle out as players do get better with the whole time limit thing. But anyways.
Well, I was just going to say that's a very interesting conversation. So if someone's creating this spreadsheet for us, I want to go back to the time rule violation. And I think you brought up some great points on that, Gannon, but not to be overlooked by your win. I think that was fantastic. I am impressed. Again, I am on the Gannon Buhr train. I was since the very first event of the season and before that. So anytime, reach out. Is there anything that we missed that you think we should have highlighted that you were hoping to talk about?
Not really. I guess I just feel like I played consistent the whole way through, and I think that's something that is going to be crucial to the rest of the season. I want to just keep up. I just one more thing I want to say I don't want to do is after Vegas, I went to Waco and got 25th. I don't want to do that again. I want to keep getting these top 5s and stuff or wins. So I think now that my whole reason I want to keep doing good is so people don't think it's a fluke. And I think as the season progresses and I get these better finishes and stuff like that, or even I'm 4th in Pro Tour points right now. by a pretty solid margin, like 70 points or something like that. So over 5th place. But I think just keep my consistent play up is my only goal. So
I'm the first to
Nice.
call out the fluke, and I'm known for that on the show, and I have not done that once with Gannon. And I don't feel like there's any level of fluke there. And I know you feel like you don't want the 25th, but from my perspective, if it matters, it's not going to be a fluke if you take 25th for the next one. But anyways, Evan had something he wants to say.
Well, yeah, you led me right into it again. And you said you're 4th in points, and you're actually 65 points above 5th. That is being Paul Macbeth. And you're over 100 points ahead of 6th, which means you have clinched a spot to the match play championship in Colorado, happening in about a month or so. Because you've already clinched, do you have plans on attending it? And if you are, have you seen the courses, whether online or in person? And how do you think that kind of fits to your game?
I have no idea how the course is. I've never even seen it. I've heard of it. We talked to some people, and they said it was pretty sick. Some good elevation. I'll be the first to say I'm not great playing at elevation. It's just I'm one who throws, different stabilities on different lines. So it's kind of tough for me to like go switch, especially when there's shot shaping involved. To trust your flippy discs, and then they just don't flip as much as you want. But I think I just need to just play solid and really get a couple more practice rounds in there. And yes, I'll definitely be there.
Awesome. All right.
Very
Well, it's
cool.
been great having you, Gannon. I always appreciate, as anyone in this situation of doing podcast would, when you respond so quickly. We really appreciate that, and look forward to more conversations. If it's a fluke, you'll hear me say it, but I don't think that's coming out of my mouth for a while. Have a good evening, Gannon. We really appreciate it.
Congrats, Gannon.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right.
Ladies, man.
All right, everybody. That was Gannon Buhr. If you didn't know him, you knew a little bit more about him now. Gannon Buhr. So that was pretty cool. I thought I appreciate, Terry, the fact that you asked that question, because for some reason it wasn't on my radar, and I think we needed to hear about it.
Yeah, and I know, again, I'm the first to admit, during a live broadcast or maybe even during a post-production, I may throw out a joke or a subtle hint at it from time to time, and I'm not afraid to bring it up with any particular player. I've done so with Nico, and it is a conversation piece that is being held within the disc golf community, and I think it's great to hear the insight from the player themselves. I'll tell you, I've had very lengthy conversations now with 3-time world champ Nate Doss in how he feels. And I've heard him say he'd be good if there wasn't any kind of a time limit or a time rule. Again, this could be a topic for one of your other shows, but he likes the golf mentality, which is, a pace of play, which means if you're keeping up or if you fall behind a certain amount of time behind the group in front of you, that's when you can get penalized. You can get warned and penalized, all of which I didn't know, but that's how apparently, golf does it. And that's an interesting philosophy as well. And I think about, you put some of our, we'll say, more methodical players together in a group, it sometimes isn't long before they're, hole 2-3 holes where they can fall behind the group in front of them. And that'd be maybe an interesting consideration. I also just worry that's in some sense punishing literally everyone else behind them at the same time. So
Exactly.
I don't know. I know, we've given Nico a hard time about it, kind of jokingly, kind of seriously throughout the years. And we have other slow players, and let me go on the record, and this will be my final piece on it. If every player takes 29.99 seconds to throw for every single shot, you will never hear a word from me. It's habitual extension over and over and over. That's when I get worked up. But you want to take 29.99 seconds every throw, I'll never say a word about it, because that's within the rules, and I'm good with that. So that's what I'll say.
Fantastic. And I want to shout out a friend of the show, Robbie C. Disc Golf, in the chat. We appreciate you in the chat. Your new show, Foundation Podcast Network, is pretty cool. Thanks for stopping by. Your voice is always welcome here. We'll have to do that collab. He reached out one day and said, let's go to Maple Hill. It fell through. If it ever happens again, we'll make it work. All right. We've made it to this point in the show where I'm really excited to get back to something that we haven't done in a long time. We're bringing it back in a little bit of a different format, and we're doing it with Terry Miller in studio. Let's get right to it, everybody. Judge that disc golfer.
Judge That Disc Golfer, the game show where you judge a disc golfer you've never met.
That's right. We judge a disc golfer we've never met, and this is really the first time on screen. I have the name because we asked for people to submit their desire to be judged. And so I was a little, it's funny.
I feel rude or dirty.
Hey, it feels that way,
right.
but we put out the request. We said, do you want to be judged? And I think they're actually happy to be judged by Terry Miller as well, on purpose. Like, I think so. So let's go ahead and find out your name. What is your name, good sir?
Hello, my name's Ryan Burns from St. James, Missouri.
Okay.
All right.
I like that last name. It rhymes with another last name that I know of.
Evan
Yes.
Kearns. Perfect. Awesome.
Burns and Burns. That
Let's
would be a
go.
good doubles team.
Yeah, let's do it.
There you go. There you go.
So often I'm filming, I'll use the word random or casual disc golfers walking off the course to do this segment. That's how we've always done it. In this scenario, I know that you are at least aware of the Nick and Matt show. Can I ask the question, how long have you been listening?
Since I want to say the spring of 2020.
Oh,
I went
spring
back-
of
yeah.
2020. That's back in the beginning.
I went back on my Spotify and was getting all the way to the very end, seeing that I had played every one. So
Well, fantastic.
It's a lot of time.
yeah.
Matt talks a lot. So.
Right.
Nick, that's awesome. Yeah, we've had people walk the whole Appalachian Trail and listen to hundreds or thousands of hours. It's amazing. So thank you very much for that. Let's go ahead and get right into it, Ryan. We got your name, so we know where you're from, Missouri. Are you a member of the PDGA?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And my number is, you want to know my number?
Yeah, go ahead. Give us your number.
107666.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
geez.
Wow. He holds up the horns.
I asked for a refund.
He holds up the horns. I'm gonna remember that number. That's a remember, like 107666. Okay, perfect. So do you have a rating? Have you played any events that were rated?
I have. I've played, I believe, 15 events in the past, 2.5 or 4 years.
Nice.
Okay, so 2.5 events. I'm filing this away. This is all
No,
important information.
15 events in the last 4 years.
15 events. Okay, so we have probably a fairly accurate rating. Okay, so what is your rating?
I believe it's 903.
9.
I was up to 930 at one point, but then I had a kid, and he takes up a lot of my time.
Oh yes, we know about that. Some of us do.
Yeah.
Some of us do. Evan's about to get married. I think his disc golf world's going to be changed.
Yeah, don't have a kid though, so I'm all good.
Just the wife. Oh, believe me. In some ways, I think it was harder just having the wife because it was like date night. Oh, there's a league on that night. Do you want to join me? No, I thought this was a date. Okay. Anyways, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, another time.
Yeah.
So we're here to judge Ryan. We're getting the information we need, and the chat is gonna get into this in a minute. They're just taking this all in. So you play tournaments. You said 15 rounds. What's your best finish, and in which division? Do you recall that?
I have 3 wins. I have 2 rec wins and 1 intermediate win.
Okay, 2 rec wins and 1 intermediate. You have to take
I'm
region.
I'm a firm believer of I'm a firm believer that you have to win 2 in one division, then bump up, and that's got me stuck where I'm at.
That's your 2 for life. Let's go.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so we heard rec and we heard intermediate. Okay, and so now we kind of guessing 903 intermediate. On an average round, do you usually shoot under par? And I'm saying average. You can pick the course in your head, whatever. But do you usually shoot under par?
At my home course, it's about 50-50.
Okay.
I'd say I'm right around par. Yeah.
All right.
My best is a neg 9, and then I'm in my slumping times, I'm like +4.
And that's a good answer, but is this like -9 at Maple Hill, or is it, somewhere like, anyways?
Negative
Okay.
9 is 1,000 rated.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Just throwing out more information for us. Here we go. A few more questions before we start to judge you. Do you have a favorite disc golf professional? Someone that you say you most commonly root for? Okay, he's holding up a disc and it says Barsby Line. Greg Barsby.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How long have you been a fan of the sport?
I got my first disc in 2002.
Wow.
and I had no idea what it did. So we tried to play catch with it, and then we stopped playing with it. I played my first round in 08 at Albert Oakland in Columbia, Missouri. But then I've probably been playing consistently for the past decade, I'd say.
Okay. And I'm trying to like revamp this a little bit and ask more questions that I thought might help us judge you. And this is the last one. What's a hobby besides disc golf that you enjoy?
Tumbling rocks.
There we go.
I like that.
There we go.
Someone call up Luke Humphreys. Let's.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have one more qualifying question
Go ahead.
that I just need to know.
Sure.
Any chance you're left-handed?
I'm not. Oh, I actually am left-handed, but I throw right-handed.
Oh my goodness.
Terry, do you know him?
I could sense it. No,
Okay.
I do not. No.
Terry comes out and aces all the questions.
Yeah, right.
No, I was just.
What's his favorite deodorant? Oh, I know that. That's
Old
weird.
Spice Pure Sport.
Yeah. All right. I think we've asked enough qualifying or questions getting us the foundation to judge you. I hope you're ready. The first question we have to ask is, how far can you throw a disc? Now, before you answer, file that away, write it down, or promise us you're not going to change your answer to skew the results here. That's what we'll say.
Real quick, is that like my max distance throw downhill, tailwind,
So,
or is this
flat
on like
ground.
an average?
Flat ground in a field. If you go out to a football field that's 1,000 feet long, how far are you reaching on a calm day?
No, Nick,
Kinda
that's
like
not the
what's-
question, though. That's how Nick can perceive the question. But the question is just simply how far can you throw? And
If someone's answering by how far they throw downhill, they are not invited back to the show.
Nick,
We are
this
on
is
the internet.
judge that disc golfer, and you have to decide.
I'm going to judge you if that's how you're deciding your distance.
So here's a follow up to that question. This is taking a little bit longer than I anticipated, but if you were to figure out how far you were to throw, have you ever? Don't tell us the answer, like how far you have, but how do you measure how far you throw? Like, what are you going to even gauge that off of? Are you going to say, hey, because I know the length of a hole, or like, or do you measure throws often?
Not so. I mean, when I do if I ever do field work, like yeah, but a lot of times it's based on the hole, the T sign.
Okay. Okay, Nick. So
And
there you
then-
go.
and
It's
then
basing it off of
backing
T
it-
signs.
Well, then
Alright.
backing it with a rangefinder.
Oh,
I mean, most of the
rangefinder.
courses I play are either Russ Burns or Dave McCormick design, so I
Okay.
feel like they're pretty up to date on their
Nick,
information.
you're up first, man. Judge him. How far is
Hey,
he going
I'll-
to say?
I'll give it. I'm going to go 380 feet.
He's been playing a while. I'm next here. I feel like he's going to be really honest. And I feel like throwing 380 is pretty hard, but I'm going to go with 350. Terry, you're up.
I'm gonna say 395.
395.
No.
Oh,
405.
405.
He's thrown it
that extra 10
405.
feet.
Yep.
All right, 405. Nick, you guessed.
385, I think I said, or 380.
That's a tight
I
window.
think I said 380.
I'm tempted to go 666 feet. Oh man. I'm gonna say 425.
All right.
You're the bomber, my future doubles partner.
All right. So Evan went high. I went low. And Nick and Terry meet in the middle. This is the
Kinda right in the
time.
middle.
How far can you throw a disc, Ryan?
Probably 333 feet.
Let's go.
Okay.
I took the first
You-
point.
Thank you
I'm
for
more-
your honesty.
I'm more of a finesse player than a bomber.
All right.
Old man golf.
All
I
right.
was ready for you to say 548 feet or something like that and just be like, you know what? I'm so done with judge that disc golfer.
Yeah, but you got to get better. That's what my wife always tells me with
Yeah.
games. She says, you have to figure out the
Exactly.
game, Matt. And then she beats me anyways. She always beats me.
Exactly.
All right. We've brought a whole... Evan's laughing. It's true. My wife beats me in any game we play just about. Maybe not disc golf. That's my only thing I've got. All right.
There you go.
And then my son beats me. All right. We've brought some new questions, Ryan. So if you've heard this in the past, we've brought a load of new questions for this new season of shows. If you were ready to hit the tour, what brand would you choose as your main sponsor? Now, I'm going to give you a list here, but I want you to know the monetary value of these sponsorships would be the same for each of these. They will all pay your entry fees and enough to travel to each event and lodging. So none of that is really in consideration. It's just coming down to the brand. And the brands are Nike, McDonald's, Red Bull, or Planet Fitness. Now, if you have a phone or a notepad, go ahead and think up your answer and jot it down, or just file it up here. We'll give you a second to lock it in. Let us know when you got it locked in. Good?
Yep, we're good.
All right, he's got it locked in. He's not going to change it. We cycle, so I will be going first.
Matt, that's a great question. I actually like that one.
I didn't run these by Nick. I'm glad. I'm glad you think so. So this is where it gets like really judgmental here. I'm like
A little superficial. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
if I say McDonald's or if I say Planet Fitness, like there's all these feelings I have in judging here. So I just have to go based off my initial reaction to him. Brian, I feel like, dang it. I don't want to give it away for everyone else what my two are that I'm debating between, but it's Nike or Planet Fitness. And I'm going to go with, he's just staring, man. That poker face is so strong. I'm going with Nike, and we can choose the same. I should have clarified. Everyone here could choose the same. So Nike's still on the board, Terry, but your list is Nike, McDonald's, Red Bull, or Planet Fitness. Just look at him,
Yeah,
Terry.
I'm gonna. I'm also wavering on two. I'm gonna go with Nike as well, though.
Okay.
All right. I'm going Red Bull. He likes rock tumbling. I think he's also a rock climber. And Red Bull, they're like those action kind of sports. They're a big player. Whether he drinks Red Bulls constantly or not, I think Red Bull would be cool to be in that category.
All right. Nick, you're up.
I wanted to go Nike for all the apparel aspects and the shoes. All that is all there. But at the same time, McDonald's, that's free food for life. And that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Planet Fitness offers showers and a gym. And then what was the last one? McDonald's, Nike,
Red Bull.
Red Bull. That's right. Oh yeah, Evan just said that. Red Bull. I don't think he's a Red Bull guy, but
All right.
I'll go.
What are you going?
I'll go
Lock
Nike.
it in. Nike. Nick locks in Nike. All right. I can't wait to find out. This is the first time we've ever asked this question, Ryan. What are you locking in as your sponsor?
In the 90s, I got to see the Bulls play. I'm a big Jordan fan, so I got to say Nike.
No,
Let's go.
Evan
was so pumped.
Gotcha.
I knew right
Gotcha.
when he said the Bulls. I was like, oh, it's Nike.
He was
Nike and Jordan.
playing me.
All right. So points for Nick, myself, and
Me.
Terry.
I said Nike.
Boom.
Terror
All
Bear.
right. Perfect. That was really fun. So Terry's going to be up first with this one. This one you may be familiar with. This one is not brand new. If I give you a stack of 10 putters, you go to circle's edge, and you're on the edge. So there's no jump putts. It's standstills, demonstrate balance. 10 putters from circle's edge. How many are going in? Terry, you're up first. What's his answer?
5.
5. Are
Oh.
you just playing odds there, Terry? Or is
No.
this your real judgment?
No, I think 5 is the magic number.
All right, Evan, you're up.
This guy, no offense, throws 330 and he can put up 1,000 rated rounds occasionally. Like if this
Once.
guy,
Once.
okay,
Once. He's giving us
On
more.
occasion. One occasion.
okay, fair. I'm still gonna go on this trend of if this dude can like make 50% or less of his circle edge putts and can still do that well, I want to know what this guy can do otherwise. I'm saying the magic number of 7.
All right, Nick, you're up.
That's such a good number too. I mean, I think anyone's obviously going to pick that one, but he's a finesse player. He's got some courses near him that he likes. Evan said 7. Can I choose 7 as well, or do I have to choose a different one?
We'll do it. It's not a tiebreaker, so you can go 7.
All right, because now I'm tempted to just. Terry, you said 5.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 6. I'm going to go 6.
Well, this is great because in my head, I was locking in 8. And for a lot of the same reasons you were, I feel like that's where he feels really confident. And I know we all have our issues, but I think he's going to say 8. Right,
8 was
Ryan?
my second one. 7 was my first.
We can try to influence him later or now. All right. So, Ryan, this is the time. You tell us. How many putts would you hit? No wind involved, just straight up.
So when I found out I was going to be judged today, I decided to go out to my practice basket and do 10 putts right there.
So fate
I
is
hit
going
six-
to...
I hit 6 of them.
Let's go.
6
The other 4
putts.
hit metal, but yeah.
So that goes to Nick, right?
Yep.
That
Okay.
goes to Nick, yeah.
Oh, man. We have a barn burner. Nick at 2, myself with 2, Terry with 1, Evan, whatever you want to call it.
Am I going to get skunked? Ugh.
I don't know. This is your first time competing in this game, right?
No, I've done this a few times before, and I have lost.
Okay.
Nick used to always lose this game and have to buy everyone lunch. I am coming in and taking that role minus paying lunch.
Okay.
I was going to say, please take the tab off my head.
So the reality here is that Evan's not going to be able to win, but he might not be skunked. And it looks like we'll see how this plays out. This is our last question unless we need a tiebreaker. All right, Ryan, if you were to get a disc golf tattoo, you've heard this. And let me just ask, do you have any tattoos, and do you mind sharing with us if you do?
I have 5 tattoos.
Okay.
My
Now,
most
do you have any
recent
disc golf
one-
tattoos?
I don't.
Okay,
no.
good. So tell us what they are, if you want to. If you want to.
I'll tell you my most recent one. It's a hot air balloon. My wife and I just got married, and we had a hot air balloon at our wedding that all of our guests got to go up in. It was pretty sweet. And then we went on our honeymoon in Portland. So I got to play Milo. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I
Okay.
have 5 tattoos.
5
Nice.
tattoos, and we got a glimpse of one, and it had a memory attached to it, as most tattoos do, but it was an air balloon. Okay, that gives me a little bit of feel. Here's the question. If you were to get your next tattoo and it was going to be a disc golf tattoo, would you go with a single basket, the doink putt, meaning a putter hitting the front rim, a cartoon Tasmanian devil doing a 360 drive, or a disc golf phrase like grip it and rip it or death putt? And it could be your own disc golf phrase, but like in that genre of disc golf tattoo.
Like step inside the smash box?
Yes,
Is it-
exactly.
you can do that?
Yeah.
That would be
Anything
paid
you want.
for. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, paid for by.
Oh,
Right on the forehead. Remember that back
Yeah.
in the day? There was
I got a
somebody did
big forehead too. Like,
All
look at
the
this
ad
shiny
space.
dome.
Yeah.
that. Look at all that ad space. So
Step into the smash box.
what style tattoo is he going for? And I think Evan's up first, correct?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Evan. What tattoo is he? You have it locked in, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay, Evan, what are you
Yeah,
going?
he had this locked in before he got on the podcast.
Right.
Oh, man. I'm not telling you which 2 I'm choosing between, but I'm choosing between 2. I'm going to have to do single basket.
All right, we're cycling back around to Nick. You're up.
So funny enough, that's exactly what I'm going to pick is the single basket.
All right. This
And
is
I'll get my reasoning after.
yeah, and this is tough because this is where the gamesmanship comes in. And I go, if I pick what Nick picks, I don't lose. But I want to
Remember,
make sure.
you read the comments and everyone hates it when you do that.
Yes, everyone hates it when I do that. And no matter what I say, if I pick single basket, they'll say I'm just playing the game. But I do feel it. I mean, the other one I'm thinking about is the phrase. Like he has some memorable phrase or something with his wife in disc golf. I don't know. Does your wife play disc golf?
Occasionally.
Okay, occasionally.
Nice.
All right. I'm not going with the phrase. I'm going with the single basket as well. All right, Terry, you're up. So if you choose single basket, you don't win. But
No,
choose what you want.
I wasn't going to. I didn't know that there were just the options. I was gonna say, I wonder if you would pick like a fairway and have like your favorite hole on a fairway. Anyway, I definitely think it's gonna be a phrase or a saying of some sort. I think that's what it should be.
That was my other option.
I'm like cutting real quick. Those new logos the Pro Tours put out of each event in kind of like a caricature
Mhm.
version.
I haven't seen
Those would make sweet tattoos if you were going to get tattoos.
them. Perfect.
Or if
I
you
don't think I've
wanted
seen it.
like
I'll
a
have to look at
tattoo
it
of
after.
Gannon on your head. I mean, he won.
Oh, he would get Barsby.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well-
Good point.
Can I say my answer now then?
Yes, we are
Yes,
interested
sir.
in your answer. Who wins?
Okay,
No.
first off, Evan, sorry you're skunked.
Oh,
Oh.
But so was Nick and Matt. Well, not Scott, but wrong.
So I was thinking, you know those old wristbands everyone
Oh,
wore
no,
in
it's
the
gonna be a
90s and
phrase.
2000s
Mm-hmm.
that said like WWJD?
Mm-hmm.
Mine
No.
would be WWBT for what would Barsby throw?
No.
That's what I would get
There you go.
Oh, no. So Terry ties it up, coming in hot at the
Dang.
end.
Okay. I see. I thought it was going to be a single basket because it was just, a single hot air balloon.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
very, very like to the point.
Oh, I didn't see
So,
like Tasmanian Devil
I'd like-
either.
I like Terry's idea of a fairway though. I think that would be.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you
it's
talked
actually
about
really
being
cool.
a technical player. That means you probably like wooded fairways and or, you know, a green that's maybe slightly wooded or something like that. That's what, if it was open-ended, I don't know, maybe that's what I thought you might get.
Yeah, imagine we made that open-ended and it was like, and for
You just have
bonus
to guess
points,
what
you
they'd
just have to literally guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did that question for a while. We said we
Nice.
did an open-ended. Remember we said what was the craziest thing you've ever seen on the disc golf course? And it was just wide open. And that
got
was
one
like
for
some
that.
weird stuff. What's up, Ryan?
I was playing in Oakland one time,
Okay.
Albert Oakland in Columbia, and I turned the corner and this guy is literally kneading dough to make bread while walking around on the course.
Come on.
Like he said
Dude.
he couldn't stop, like leave it at home to knead the bread, so he brought it with him on the course and was kneading.
Oh, that's
Oh
so
my
obvious. You know
gosh.
why? Because you drive for show and you putt for
But
dough.
for no, right?
Oh my god.
I'm thinking it's like a
Make it up.
sensory thing. That was excellent though, Terry. That was
Yeah.
perfect. You're good with that stuff, man. All right. So we have a tie and we have to break the tie. And I have a question lined up that's going to be a little bit. It was one that I was going to test the waters with for the show, like the actual questioning. So let's just get right into it. We'll see how this plays out. When was your last tournament round?
Last month.
Okay. Good.
I think exactly a month ago.
Okay, that's good. So you can recall the feelings and the
Yeah.
play and generally how you performed. Perfect. Here we go.
Yeah.
Which band best describes your most recent tournament performance? And here's your options: Red Hot Chili Peppers, Disturbed, Fall Out Boy, or No Doubt. All right. And for this, I guess we just start over with Nick just did the last one, so I'll start the timer.
No, I think Evan did.
Oh, okay. So perfect.
Yeah, I
the
did
three
the
that
last
are in the playoff
Yeah, I
here.
guess
Nick go
technically.
first. You got it locked in, Ryan?
Can you say it one more
Red
time?
Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah. Okay.
Disturbed. That's so funny to me. Fall Out Boy or No Doubt. You had to pick one of those
Got
for
it.
your most. Okay. All right. He's got it. He remembers what his round was. Evan, can you look up the stats for his last? Okay. Nick, you're up.
Yeah. I'll go Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay. I am going
Now,
with,
quick question: are you allowed to answer the same answer? Because it's a tiebreaker.
if we do, I'll have to come up with. Yeah, it's true. That's a really good point.
So I get Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay, I get Fall Out Boy. Is that one you wanted to choose, Terry?
Disturbed and No Doubt were the other options.
Yeah.
No, I'm good with going. I'll be different. I'll go No Doubt. I mean,
Okay.
playing 50 points above his rating, he's got to take that down. No doubt.
All right. Nick with Red Hot Chili Peppers, myself with Fall Out Boy, and Terry with No Doubt. What's the answer, Ryan?
It is No Doubt.
Oh,
I knew out of my hand if I
Terry
was
for
hitting
the
the line or what. It was just No Doubt.
I thought he was going to say Disturbed for a second. I was going to be like, well, damn, that
We all
backfired.
I
lost.
played pretty well. I tied for second, shot one over both rounds. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and honestly, Samuel and Josh, those are sandbaggers. So I think
Yeah.
you won.
The dude shot next 7. He
See?
was tied for second
See?
open after round 1 in intermediate. It's like,
All right.
no, he just shot fire.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed your time on Judge That Disc Golfer. We're hoping to bring this back more often, and you are the first of this season, so you have that claim to fame if it matters to you. You've been judged
Thank
on the
you.
Nick and Matt show and by Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and Evan Kearns of Statmando. We hope you appreciated your time. Any shout outs you want to do?
No, just the Rolla Disc Golf Club, Rolla, Missouri.
Awesome.
Doing good things down here.
All
There you
right,
go.
everybody.
All right.
That was Ryan. We appreciate it. Hope you had a good time, and we'll catch you out on the disc golf course maybe someday. Come up and say hi if you see us.
Okay.
All right.
I appreciate it,
Peace
man.
out.
Take it
See ya.
easy.
All right. Well, that was fun. I wish I had lined up the Judge That Disc Golfer outro music. I forgot to do that. But what do you think, Terry? Was that fun?
Yeah, and I'll quote what every player says every time they win. Oh, it's such a fun weekend. Such a fun weekend of disc golf. It's always fun when you win. I'm waiting for the first ever interview for somebody to say, I just had a terrible time out there. It sucked. I don't know how I pulled out the win. I think about a Holly Finley made a post.
I can say that about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're talking to
Okay.
Nick
Last
who would do
weekend.
that.
Well, I'm just saying just today I remember flipping through my reels. Holly Finley has a reel. Congratulations. Shout out to her. She won the Rumble on the women's side this weekend. And one of the first things she said, I had so much fun. Every winner has so much fun, and they should be. I'm not ripping on this idea. It's just funny that every winner always has a lot of fun that weekend, and they always love their card mates, the ones they just whooped. So congratulations to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I can honestly say I won an A tier last weekend, not this one that just happened, but the one before that. And the first 2 days were just miserable weather. And I luckily shot well because it was not fun. It was horrible. The course was super muddy. The volunteers and everyone else made it a great weekend. I got to see family friends of mine that made it a fun weekend. But playing disc golf that weekend was not necessarily fun until Sunday. But if you win, it's obviously fun.
Yeah, easier to forget all that other stuff.
All right.
Exactly.
There's a product that the Nick and Matt show uses regularly. And in fact, I'm going to give Terry this product as a gift for being on the show. And I want you to just check this out. I'll hand it over the computer here if we can reach. First of all, and this is not weird, smell that and tell me what you think. It may not be your thing.
Wait, what kind of podcast is this? Smell that and tell me what you think.
For our listening audience, he's sitting far away. Like, do you generally like that? What do you feel? Are you that citronella?
Yeah, I was going to say citronella,
guy?
Almost a lemon type
exactly lemon
scent that I'm getting here.
Citrodelic, yes. It's an essential oil that helps calm you. Terry starts falling asleep. This show is really good. But this product, if you rub, now it's going to get weird if you rub it on your fingers and feel the enhancement, the grip enhancement. And we have Snapstick. This is the same product in a chapstick container. Snapstick, I think this is one of the best products out there for grip enhancement. Terry, if you're getting it on your fingers a little bit and do you feel like that's enhancing your grip without a disc in hand?
Yeah, I was just trying to think if I want my lips to be sticky though. I'm getting confused here.
Yes.
So how we're cross promoting this.
Exactly.
Should I be eating this?
Take a bite. No. Then your sweat becomes grippy, but enhanced your grip. We always say, like, use the birdie bags, use whatever, right? The whale sacks, all those things that dries your hands. This enhances the grip. So we're going to give you that product in a package so it doesn't have to be out of the package like that. And we've experienced, I can speak for myself, that it works well in almost any condition, including rain. I tried it out on this hot, humid weekend up here in New England just 2 days ago, and I was happy with it. It's really excellent for giving the confidence that you need and the extra spin. Even intern Ben said he's throwing further with it. Nick, what do you think?
I love it. I mean, I've been using it almost every single week. Most of my stuff is actually almost out. The mini that I have is actually very, it's not almost out in a sense, but like it's very deformed. You can tell certain areas that, I don't know, just where I have it in my bag and where I'll put my hands on it, it's actually pretty deformed now. So it still has a lot of life left to it, but it definitely doesn't look like a mini.
We've got more if you need it. And so does DG Max Wax. Go to their dgmaxwax.com or visit your local pro shop. If they have it, purchase it there. Make sure you shout out DG Max Wax saying thanks to Nick and Matt. Use the code Nick and Matt, you get 10% off. Leave them a Google review, all the good stuff, and you'll be helping out a small startup. All right, we've made it to this time in the show. We're fitting in a lot of fun. We're going to have more conversations. In fact, let's go ahead and get into stat or fiction if I'm quick enough to pull it up here. Again, we're sorry that Ben is sick and he's out of studio. It's making me do all this work. But here we go, stat or fiction.
Stat or Fiction, presented by Statmando.
All right, here's another game, Terry. I got to get rid of the points. Oh, actually, hold on. We can just keep this running on here. Like, he's got a one-stroke advantage. Let's see.
Yeah, do you want to put my points up there as well next to my name, or is that not necessary?
Yeah, I think they're there. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't see them. But.
Oh, man. I need to get better at judge that disc golfer. I'm not good at it, but I'm glad I can set the stage for somebody else to win.
Perfect.
There you go.
And
You're
so
a team player.
Exactly. Let's get into this. Gannon Buhr took down Masters Cup. First Silver Series win of his career. And with that, there have now been as many unique Silver Series winners as Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Series winners, unique winners in MPO.
One more time for me, the slow
For the year or
minded.
for ever?
Oh, that's a great question. Ever, which is that's why I'm getting to it. Silver Series started in 2020. Elite Series of Disc Golf Pro Tour the Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite events, let me say it that way, started in 2016. So there have been as many unique players to win a Silver Series in MPO as there have been unique players to win a Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite event in MPO. So if you take all the winners for both the like Silver Series and Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite, there's the exact same number of players.
Nick, you're
even
first.
though there's less events.
Stat.
Nick says stat. I say fiction. That was pretty quick. I'm just feeling it. What do you think, Terry?
That sounds like fiction to me.
Terry says fiction. What is the answer, Evan? That was the quickest we've ever done.
That was so speedy. This is fiction.
Perfect.
There are a lot more Silver Series unique winners, especially sometimes, not as strong of fields. You can get more winners who might not win an elite event, like Dan Schlitter last year. I always get confused saying that, but I got it right. There have been 18 total unique winners in Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite events, and there have been 12 in Silver Series for MPO. FPO is kind of similar numbers. I forget the exact same, but it's still a pretty sizable lead. But
Nick, what were you thinking? And I don't mean that offensively. I just mean like,
why are you so dumb?
Yeah,
So
what were your thoughts?
So why am I losing, loser? Yeah. No, honestly, the way he said the question, he sounded super, super excited about it. And so I was like, oh, it's like he found a really cool stat. And so it just, if anything, Evan played me.
You're playing the game. I see. Yeah, that's what I tried to do.
Yeah, exactly. That was my goal.
Honestly, I put no thought into thinking of what. Yeah, that's probably which is why my record is crap now. But
yeah, it would be a really cool stat if it was true, only being the third year of Silver Series after 7 now
it'd be crazy
elite events. And I do think it'll happen, maybe not this year, but
I think it'll happen
eventually.
next
You're
year.
right.
Yeah,
you will have more
because you got to think if Russ Elite season, we might not see another new winner. We see Ricky win more, Chris Dickerson, Eagle McMahon, Kyle Klein could come out and win an event. Yep. Simon could come back and win an event. But Silver Series is just so easy to have all these new winners. So especially as the season gets on and people might.
Albert, Gannon.
All right, I need to catch up on Terry. I need to start changing my answers.
All right, so sticking with winner Gannon Buhr and also the FPO winner at the Masters Cup, Sarah Hokum. Stat or fiction number 2 is Sarah Hokum has more career wins than Gannon Buhr has events played, and those are any division from all PDGA sanctioning events. Sarah Hokum has more career wins than Gannon Buhr has events played.
Of all time for Gannon Buhr, even when he was a junior, you're saying like
all
any event he's ever
divisions
played.
World champion junior.
So if I looked up, I'm just clarifying, if I looked up Gannon, it said he played 120 rounds. You're saying that events. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to say that's fiction. You're up, Terry.
Again, so Gannon Buhr's amount of tournaments versus Sarah Hokum's
wins,
total wins.
Yeah. So stat would be Sarah Hokum has more events played than Buhr has wins.
I would. Now you really just confused.
I switched it around there.
I was just gonna say, wait a minute. Am I stupid or did you just confuse me?
Don't make Evan repeat himself. It usually doesn't work.
I would assume that is true. So the stat or fiction, the true one is career wins for Sarah Hokum versus events played for Gannon Buhr.
I'm thinking that I don't know if I share it, but I'm gonna have to say Gannon has more rounds or tournaments played than Sarah has,
and that's fiction, right?
That would be fiction. Yeah.
Okay, so fiction.
We're gonna still stay tied, or Nick catches up.
So funny enough, when we had Gannon on, I was going through PDGA and just looking up his PDGA, just kind of like seeing his years, and I think he's been a member since 2015. And so now I'm thinking, okay, that's 7 years of membership. When he was younger, he was probably playing on average 5 to 7 events per year. And so then I'm thinking, okay, that's potentially 25 to 30 events so far. And then now the last 2 years, yada, yada, yada. Sarah's an OG. So just now that I've completely complicated my head, if I say stat, I'm saying Sarah has more wins than Gannon has events played, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. I also need to gain a point on these guys.
Oh, no.
And so I'm going to sacrifice my record a little bit. I'm going to say stat.
Our listeners hate you, sort of the chat. They hate
It's more so like, I mean, it's more than likely. Honestly, it's like 90% fiction, 10% stat. But at the same time, like
it could be.
You know, you got to try to make a move.
I'll compare it to this, Nick. You're down by a stroke going into hole 17. You're going for the ace run or park job, even if it's not the smart play. Treat it as like that.
Well,
fans
no matter what.
But why is Evan smiling halfway?
Well, so I'll tell you this. If
I know why.
If I pick fiction, no matter what, I can't beat Terry.
It's true. It's gameplay. I get it.
So I obviously you have
play.
to slightly do the gameplay.
This is match play.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Evan, give it to
I
us.
cheated. I know the
Okay.
answer now.
Oh, he knows the answer.
This is stat.
All right.
Let's go.
So all that reasoning worked in your favor. Sarah Open has 95 career wins. I believe that's 93 in FPO too. So Gannon Buhr has 81 career events played.
Okay, is that the last question or is there one more?
There is one more.
All right, so this is going to be the do or die because Terry won Judge That Disc Golf, he has a 1 point lead on Nick and myself. All right, give it to us, Evan.
All right. We are hopping over to my classic, maybe slightly complicated, bringing in another sport.
Perfect.
But I'm doing it. It was Celtics got me hyped. So
Okay.
when the Boston
Let's go.
Celtics won their most recent NBA championship, Nate Doss and Valerie Jenkins were the reigning PDGA World Champions.
I know.
We're going to make Terry go first anyways because that's who's up. So go, Terry.
What you said when they won it, they were the reigning world champions.
When the Celtics won their most recent NBA championship, Doss and Jenkins were the reigning PDGA World Champions.
Is that the same as current?
The current at that second, yes.
So then that would be 2007.
Okay, well that's the year. But were they? So
were they?
Were they the reigning champions during when the Celtics had their last championship win?
Oh, I have no idea when the Celtics.
So he knows 2007 now.
Does Larry Bird still play for them?
I'm going to be in a
wish.
similar boat to you, Terry, but what do you think? You're going to have to roll the dice. 2007 then being when you would think the Celtics would have their last win.
That's an incredibly specific question. So I'm going to say yes, they were the reigning world champions.
Dang it. I was going to say we put up this on purpose for Evan. We said, give us an easy one. Terry's going to have no idea. All right, Nick, you're
Robert
up.
Parrish, was he there?
Yeah.
So
Pistol Pete.
So I kind of have to, because I think they won in 08-09. The NBA season was in 08 or 09. Well, like continuing, it was the 08-09 season. And so then I'm thinking if they technically won in 2009, when was the World Championships that year? Because Nate won in 2008, right? Avery Jenkins won in 2009. So it all depends on when Worlds was that year.
Well, and this is
it depends on if you have the facts right, because Nate didn't win in 08.
He didn't win in 08?
No,
Dave
Feldberg did.
I thought
With a score of 99 under par.
Wait, was this
so
Nate Avery
was
or Nate
5, 7, and 11, right? Was Nate 5, 7, and 11?
He was 5, 7, and 11.
Okay, all right. Then, okay. For some odd reason, I thought Dave Feldberg was 5, but that makes way more sense. 5, 7, 11. All right. Okay. So now if I'm saying fiction, does that mean...
If you say fiction,
oh wait, we were
saying,
fictioning things or statting things. Dang it! I don't know.
If you say fiction,
Yeah.
what you're saying is when the Celtics won, whenever that was, that Nate Doss and Valerie Jenkins together were not the reigning champions. One of them could have been, or none of them, but not both.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go fiction then, because I do not think they were both reigning champions at the same time as the
that's what you're
NBA
trying to say.
championships happened.
This is
Yes.
awesome. I love this.
I'm going
There's so much
fiction.
to it.
Except for
I'm
I don't know
going-
anything about
Also,
basketball.
I remember
Other than
watching
that,
it.
this
I
is
mean,
great.
It was against the
I'm going
Lakers, and then they
fiction
went
for
back a couple
obvious
years later, and
reasons.
then they lost, and then I'm okay. All right, go ahead.
I went fiction for obvious reasons. We're trying to like scam the system here. Let's see what happens.
You're running the island on Maple Hill, a whole
Let's
18,
go.
try to get it.
Let's go.
So this is Stat.
Oh,
Yes.
Takes it.
So
was it
got it
07
right
or 08? Was it 07, 08 or 08, 09
it
when they
was
won?
07 to 08. The championship was in 2008.
That's what it
was
was.
before
Yeah.
the World Championships that year, where Dave Feldberg took down along with Valerie Jenkins, getting her second.
Yeah.
In 2007, Terry had it perfectly correct because that guy's a dictionary who just happens to breathe. And Nate Doss and Valerie Jenkins were the winners from the previous year, being August of 2007. The Celtics won on June 17th in 2008. 2 months later, on August 16th, 2008, that's when Dave won.
Wow.
So I got my years wrong of the NBA, and that's why I was like, I couldn't remember if it was.
All I do is win.
Are we about to get copywritten?
No, as long as you only play 3 or 4 seconds, you're fine.
We're not
All right,
demonetized. Whew.
Demonetized.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's our payment to Terry. We demonetize.
Dang it.
All right.
When
so,
do you guys send that super chat to me?
Yeah.
By the way, I need that to get home.
okay.
That was for winning both games, actually.
Wow, that was incredible, Terry.
I just had a lot of fun with it, and
Just had a great weekend.
just a
The
really
vibes
good
in the card were
weekend.
great.
My card mates were great. All my competitors were just great.
It's
It was
so
fun to whoop 'em.
funny. Okay, let's do this. Double G Craft Jerky. This is why Terry came on the show. All right, I'm gonna do a little roulette here, and I'm gonna pull out some jerky out of this bag, and it is Garlic Lover's Dream.
That sounds amazing.
Sounds
right now.
amazing right now. I'm going to crack it open. If you use the code Nick and Matt, they'll throw a gift in with your order. Did you know that, Terry? Use that code, you get a nice little gift with your
Seriously, yeah, you get to eat wax.
order. You get to
wax
eat-
wax.
Okay, this is it right here, the packaging, Garlic Lover's Dream. Let me hand this over to Evan.
Oh, nice.
That is a loaded pack of flavor. I'll tell you that right now. Evan, have you ever had this flavor?
I have not. This is gonna be my first bite. of
Give us
Garlic
your,
Lovers.
we'll
And-
get back to you. Tell us how you think
And
it tastes.
as a garlic lover, this is my dream.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Okay. The flavor right now is everything I wanted.
Oh,
So Terry's loaded up.
you
He
know
can
what I
show
do.
the
This is my
camera.
own bag.
You know what I do?
Look at that.
I
Hot
bring
boom
the hot
sauce.
boom sauce. That's what I do.
Boom sauce.
This flavor is boom saucing my mouth, even though it's
Whoa.
not the boom sauce version. They have
The hot boom
That's a
sauce is way
different
too hot
show.
for me. Yeah.
they have the McBeast barbecue. That's their best seller, but they have original hot boom sauce, teriyaki, smash cracked pepper, garlic lover's dream, Paul's max weight, Nate Sexton sweet and spicy, and they've even talked about and teased maybe, I don't know if this is going to be Terry's favorite, but mushroom jerky. Could be flavorful. What makes Double G unique? He comes from his humble beginnings, from a large family. He's been making jerky since he was 16. They use a special cut of brisket. You can see that on screen. There's ad loop running. They give money to a charity. Every purchase goes towards that. They have players packs. You can get this retail in your store. Jerry. I'm saying Jerry, Jerky, Double Jerky, Terry Miller, disc golf guy, whoever we're talking about. Is this a product that you enjoy yourself, Terry? And you're getting paid nothing for this.
Stop right now. This is too dang good. Yeah, I literally eat hot boom sauce.
Oh, it's so
I wish I was
good.
getting paid to say this, and I'm not. I just eat
I'll
jerky.
pay you something. Venmo.
No, seriously, I have it all the time. I always post on Instagram about it. I absolutely do love it. I have worked with Double G and with his business partners over there. Next week, that's so hot. Next weekend, I'm running a tournament. Every single person
There
in
you
my
go.
tournament is getting
That's what I'm talking about.
their choice of Double G
Nice.
jerky.
They get
So
any of this and
I
bag.
put my money where my mouth is, or I don't know how that works with this, but yeah, it is truly delicious. I love hot boom sauce. I like the garlic that you guys are eating. Smash cracked pepper I really like. I like all the flavors, but boom sauce, that's where it's at if you like it hot.
I do think you made a smart move for the players packs because as a player that's been playing tournaments for a long time, I have more disc than I'll never throw.
Mhm.
But when I get the jerky in my player pack during the round, I crack it open. I feel like it was value well spent or received, however you want to look at that. Again, Nick and Matt will get you a special gift with your order. And besides that, it shows that you support both Double G the Children's Foundation and the Nick and Matt Show, and Terry Miller on the road is his favorite snack.
We got to make sure, I don't think we brought this up to Gannon, but we got to make sure if Gannon likes beef jerky, because he was a guest on the show, we got to hook him up.
We do got to hook him up. Because Terry's already hooked up, so we got to hook up.
Exactly.
We got to hook up Gannon.
Yeah.
Do you have more of that? Did you eat it all? It's all gone? There's a little crumb. I don't have any more. There's a little crumb in there. That's all I need, because I can't talk and eat anyways.
Yeah.
What do you think of it? Because you said this was your first time.
Yeah, it's good.
I got a mouthful of it. We all have mouthfuls of jerky.
It's not spicy, but like I'm feeling like just
the
like
cracked
that,
pepper almost.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a pepper background to the garlic, so it's not just like you're dumping garlic in your mouth. Like it's a good blend of garlic with the pepper, with just the savory jerkiness. You know,
it tastes like a jerky.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing.
The show is just gone.
Go get some.
Down. It's like we're all just chewing on jerky.
Everybody's ears. Guys, this jerky's so good.
It isn't.
But it
fantastic.
is. And if you do like really hot and spicy, I know I say it all the time, I'm a big jalapeno fan. I put jalapenos on everything. The boom sauce is awesome. I actually take the pepper flakes that are in the bottom of the bag.
On.
No joke. I will take that. And then I'll mix that with something else that I might be making at home. I'll just recycle them. I'll just pour the bag right into.
We gotta check this guy for being a psycho.
Yeah.
That's insane.
No, mix not into the spice.
No,
Mix
he's a
not into
serial
love
killer.
the hot boom sauce. So
that's
much.
not psycho. Like
That sounds awesome.
For Christmas, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, but I got red pepper flakes, or not even red pepper flakes, different pepper flakes.
Yeah.
So I got so many assortments now, and they're so good. Like pepper flakes are where it's at.
Fantastic.
Pizza, like that's a classic that people do.
Oh, I love it on
so
pizza.
good.
Okay, now we're getting off
So
topic.
I want to
we're
steal
hungry.
that idea. So yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about
Anyways,
putting hot sauce on the jerky, Terry. Like a nice, like
come on.
garlicky hot sauce. Like, okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, after show. All right. Which we don't do here. We enjoy yours, but we don't do that here. All right. We're getting close to the end, but we have a lot to accomplish and fit in here. So we're going to kind of give you some, not full interview questions, just maybe general reactions. The first one you kind of brought up, you said you called out Nico once on one of your shows for, not called him out. You asked him a question about, taking his time while he throws, just like you did with Gannon. But I remember it probably was a little bit of a chore to line up Nico for the interview, because I'll tell you from the Nick and Matt show, he turned us down. He said, I'll think about it. And then that night he showed up on Smashbox, which is fantastic. You got the interview. And I remember clearly at one point, he went off screen and you all wondered what was happening. And he came back with some clown psycho mask on his head and he performed the interview that way. What was your general thought in that moment? Like, cause that's pretty interesting.
I mean, and yeah, as you kind of set it up, it just, I'd very bluntly asked him and just said, hey, you exceed 30 seconds and he left camera and he came back with this mask on and, his big,
so what was your thought on that? Like, what is going on? Or
mean, yeah, we were just laughing. It was part of his overall response and, I feel like he kind of dodged, honestly, still dodged the question. And then he came back with an interesting, when he did answer it, he said, to all the haters out there and the keyboard warriors, get better, get on my card, and then call me on the 30 seconds.
Right.
And I still to this day don't think that's exactly like a legitimate response, but that was his version. And, that's how he did it. So it is what it is. I mean, we're glad he joins us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had an invite, but I'm glad he chose you in the end, because I would have been like the clown. I don't know how I would have reacted. It was a fantastic moment. All right. Here's another one. How do you have such a dedicated audience over at Smashbox? I see $50 super chats on the regular. It's not about the money, I know, but when someone drops $50 bills, it says something. So how'd you get that audience?
I don't know. We're really, honestly, I don't think we get them as often as you think we do.
Come on now.
But yeah, we're really blessed. We got a lot of people that, I think the people that do sign up for us really know what they're getting, which is a very laid back, very non-structured. You guys are killing it with the structure. We're non-structured. We're very laid back.
Depends on your definition of killing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys have segments, and that's something we
cool.
started with, and then eventually just kind of went away with them.
We may do that too, Terry.
It's great because there's so many people that feel like they're just listening, or they're almost in on a conversation with us. And it's laid back and casual. Sometimes we're accused of being too casual and not asking tough enough questions, but we're also not out to make anyone angry or upset or grill people. We're not hard-hitting journalism. I'll occasionally ask a tough question if I have to, but we're not out to make somebody feel uncomfortable and or really challenge them. We're trying to have everybody have a good time, all within reason. So I think our viewers just know what they're getting into, and some sign off. They're like, hey, that show goes way too long. We don't care who you're having or what you're doing. We're not signing on. It's like, there's a pause button, but that's fine. We can't, just like everybody, you can't be everything to everybody.
No, exactly. And I'll say this, and I know that someone listening right now is just like clapping and loves it. They're like, yeah, we don't like Matt, but we still listen because we like Nick and Evan. It happens all the time.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. I do too. I like it.
I agree with that sentiment. That's so funny. Okay. People say you're a legend. And I mean, I've seen this in posts all over, whether it's made it on Disc Golf Pro Tour, social media, or others. They say you're a legend. I feel similarly. How do you feel when you hear or read that in the public space?
Of course, I'm honored that anyone thinks of me favorably. I mean, there's a lot of online chatter and discussion all the time. And whether you're newer or older, you may or may not realize how long I've been around, and longevity doesn't guarantee me anything. I'm not suggesting that. But what I really do mean is some people, it's hard to read stupid things when people are like, oh, Terry plays disc golf or played once or has any idea what he's talking about. And again, what I say to that is I thankfully found disc golf when I was like 12 or 13. That was almost exactly 30 years ago. And before I had left college, I was running tournaments, PDGA sanctioned tournaments. I was, starting a disc golf club at the college, which was very unique at the time. I was running leagues and tournaments and designing courses. And I had a huge, lengthy background in disc golf career in all of those things, plus playing, and then didn't find media until 2010. So, I know there's a lot of recency bias about, how long have you known, this person or what they've been involved with. It's annoying to hear when people say, I have no idea. You can disagree with what I'm saying, but to say I have no idea what I'm talking about, or because I haven't won an A tier in the last 10 years, I don't think that disqualifies me, but I'm truly humbled by anyone that likes or appreciates any efforts that I give. If you chuckle along with me on my dumb jokes, good for you. If you don't, I'm going to still make them anyway.
I do chuckle.
I appreciate that.
That's funny. So, okay, that's a great answer there. You actually talked about some of what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, hey, you throw aces on your days off or your once every year rounds. I was going to say, tell us about your disc golf background. So answer a little bit more in this vein, just for fun. How good were you? Like, what was your best rating? How often did you play, before we knew you in media?
Yeah, I played a ton. Some people have no idea. I played 40 weekends a year.
Wow, yeah.
And at the time there wasn't a sanctioned tournament every weekend. So you might see 18 or 20 sanctioned tournaments on my, in my history from 2000 or 1998. But if there wasn't a sanctioned tournament, it was no big deal to go play an unsanctioned tournament. There wasn't quite there wasn't the availability for starters. And then unsanctioned tournaments were just as much fun, if not more. You had a lot of doubles tournaments. You had glow tournaments that I either planned or played in or ran. So all of my background, was playing in all those events. I really had a mentality of, if there's a tournament in Wisconsin, I'll play it. If there's not, look in Indiana, Illinois, or Michigan. And if there's still not one that we'll travel to or could find, then I would be like, oh, I'll just run one. And so I'd run an unsanctioned tournament and put that together in a matter of weeks. And so that was very much how I handled 10 years probably of the age of, 19 into my, mid 20s. And I think 2007 is around where I technically peaked ratings wise. I think 995. I know I was. I won't pretend like I didn't know. I
Simon
know.
says people act like they don't care, but they do.
Exactly.
They do.
I was 995,
and
I know this sounds a little I don't know how whatever. When we talked with Eric McCabe and we were on one of those other podcasts a few years ago, he's like $9.95 though in 2007. Like if
True.
you had
Great
today's
point.
inflation of disc golf,
That's like 1,015.
maybe, yeah, 1,010, 1,015 ish. That's where I think I would have stacked up against today's,
That's
average
a great
rating.
perspective, insight. Yeah.
And some people may say, oh, well, you're just silly and you're making it. Well, there was only a few dozen people or a few hundred people that were rated over 1,000.
Yeah.
And so ratings were a very different world. And I'm not complaining about them. They were just different. I think if you did, use a little of today's inflation, I don't know, maybe we could run some stats on that. But
that could be interesting. Stat inflation.
yeah, and maybe
Also
that's
think the
just
different
Watch
propagators
out.
and the different courses and everything like that.
Yeah, totally. I
There's
mean,
so many different propagators now.
I was playing Worlds when it was 9 rounds. You'd play 2 rounds a day for 4 straight days. You'd have a
I wish that
semifinals
was
in the
still a
morning,
thing.
and you'd have a final 9 on Saturday afternoon. Like that used to be how Worlds was played. So
Watch out. You talk about ratings. Chuck shows up. in the
I know.
chat.
Just say it 3 times, and he's here.
All right. We actually interviewed him as one of our shows, and I will go on record as saying I was very happy he came on to talk, but we have never, and I don't mean this negatively, we have never had an interview like that or a show like that ever since. That guy, take that for what it's worth. Go listen to it. He knows what he's talking about, and we thought he was fairly political. I'll say this, and I don't mean political as in like government wise. I mean like, we'd be like, so tell us, like, do the ratings get skewed? Is there inflation? And he was like, nah, and kind of beat around the bush.
How do I answer this without an answer?
But really interesting. And I want to say also, since you come on our show, all of a sudden we're starting to get $50 super chats.
Yeah,
Well, actually, we'll give it the 30. That's the half.
Jonathan, I love you.
For Terry. So now we got to send the Venmo. This is like the most inefficient way to get money to Terry.
No,
All right.
so just button all that up. It was I was a decent player. I was very much a regional player. I think I've won 20 or so tournaments, but a lot of C tiers, B tiers. There were times I was running a C tier or a B tier, and then I would TD it and I'd win it as well. Not like that was often, but that happened a couple times. That type of stuff. I had a few really solid events against the like of Brian Schweberger and some of his travel crew way back in many years ago. So yeah, and very fortunate that I was once a decent player.
All right, last question. You can answer it. You can't. You can just keep that a mystery. If you could estimate how many discs do you have in your collection?
Grand total. And
All
now a couple thousand could literally just be sold tomorrow, and it would not personally affect me in terms of attachment to them, right? So like
Let's
just
get
like
that out of
stock
the way.
discs. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's just use that term. Truly stock disc, a brand new disc that, well, not the Kelvin Destroyers I just bought or the Sexton Firebirds, but like a true stock disc. I could probably get rid of
Halo
about
Polecat.
2,000 of them. Yes, I just got some of those.
Yeah.
I probably, when it's all said and done, I probably have about 10,000.
What's
10.
your vault password?
Well,
He's given the
Yeah,
tour
exactly.
a few
Where's
times.
your storage container?
I've got multiple, honestly. I've got a lot of frisbees. A lot.
What do you think your most expensive disc is worth? If you were to say like it's tough to put a price tag. Let me rephrase that.
Sure.
What's the most valuable disc? Like if you were to say if someone really knew what this disc was worth, this is the disc, like a 15 Nate Sexton Firebird or something like
I've
that.
got a couple of those. I had a really rare, it still is, one of 14 white on white embossed USDGC rock from 07. And I know there was a pair of them. There's only 14 that existed. 2 of them sold for like 800 and 900 a piece. And I held on to mine because I'm a hoarder and I should have sold it. I've got that, Macbeth special buzz white something or other buzz. That's probably, $500, $600, $700. And just a ton of Firebirds. Any given one disc. Yeah, I would have to think in that $700, $800, $900, maybe $1,000 range.
Yeah.
I mean, and we all know some of those disc prices can be wildly temperamental. I mean, there's a lot of discs that I could have sold for top dollar at one point that I was like, I'll just hold on to it. And in some ways that's gone down.
Yeah. What's your most sentimental disc?
Oh,
I would have to say there's a lot of them, but one in particular, it's a lightning disc. It's a Corsair. And when I bought my first 2 discs ever, it was a lynx by Innova, a huge Innova lynx, which is like a condor size, because the lady at Play It Again Sports said, this is most like a Frisbee. It was, I was like 13.
Yeah.
And then I bought with it a red Lightning Corsair. And Lightning, had the airplane theme for all of their discs. And I bought that for my girlfriend. And her and I went out and played with my Lynx and her Corsair disc. And eventually that Corsair was handed to my best friend. And then he played, he got hooked. And then he bought his first disc. So that Corsair was handed to my next best friend and the next friend and the next friend. That disc was probably in the hands of, 75 or 100 people as their first round.
Nice.
And then once they were hooked,
Very cool.
it went out and, it got passed on to the next person. So to me, if you're talking truly sentimental, knowing it was, one of the first discs I ever purchased, and then the seed it planted for so many friends, I can't imagine a disc has done more, to get more. One disc has done more to get more people involved with disc golf than that disc.
That's really cool.
Very
story.
cool.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing that. This is the time, Nick, where we get into the segment that Ben usually intros for us, and I'm going to give my best go at it. Disc Euro discussion. All right, Nick, what are we talking about today?
So we're going to talk about, because it's such a big thing, every single week in and week out for the Disc Golf Pro Tour Silver Series or Elite Series, courses are changing in the sense of we just finished up at De La Viega and then the golf course, and now they're going over to OTB Open, which is on a golf course, and it's not a par 3 course. So, Disc Euro discussion tonight. What are your favorite courses that are being played on the road right now, and why?
I'll make
and
it
I think
simple.
Terry will have a really, I'm really curious on Terry's answers just because he's seen probably a majority of these courses in person. I, for one, have not seen a lot of these in person, but Disc Euro discussion, I'll start it up.
Okay.
My favorite course to watch, to play, and all around just love the design of it is Fox Run Meadows in Vermont.
Okay. And we'll just keep going around once or twice here. I'm going to say Toboggan. I think I've never been there, but watching it, I appreciate the coverage of the hole styles. I haven't played there, but I think just to me, Toboggan would be a great course. I like seeing it, and I'd like to also play it someday. Let's go to Terry. What do you think? What's one of the courses that's your favorite on tour?
I've been at every Elite Series course in person at one time or another. Obviously Maple Hill is on top of the list. That one feels like the no-brainer. I'm going to cheat a little, and I'm going to say I think people are going to be blown away by what they see in Norway, and that's on the Elite Silver Series. But the PCS Sula has 2 courses in Norway, one in Alesund and one in Vestnes, and I've seen both of those, once in 2013 and once in 2019. And I think people are really going to like what they see over in Vestnes. That's a beautiful course, literally in someone's backyard with a fjord behind it. Like you're literally looking out over a fjord. It's pretty incredible. So I know that one cheats a little bit, but I'll say that one's incredible. And then again, if you're looking at Silver Series, if you're including Silver Series within this conversation, look at Milo. I mean, every person will tell you Milo is just one of the most majestic looking, feeling, vibes, auras, atmosphere, and overall scenery. I played there in Worlds in 2014, and then I filmed a ton of times there throughout the years. I think that's probably the hands down favorite out of all the courses that I think about on the tour. Milo takes the cake.
Before
I was going to say,
you
we're
go,
all
Evan, just
ready
really
to
quick. Before you go, Evan, sorry to cut you off,
okay.
but I'm going to throw my best friend under the bus and say that Paul Macbeth thinks Milo is such an overrated course. And he tells me different reasons why. And it's funny because we haven't been on the show in a while, and
we got to change
for
that.
a while.
We got to pay him. Pay him more money.
And I'm sure I'll get a text message later being like, "Dang, dude, why'd you do that?" But no, it's just funny because I was originally planning on going out to Oregon this year, and then with the way with the way flights are right now, it's just so stupidly expensive to get anywhere, and I don't think it's a viable decision to go out there right now, but it's still in the works. But anyways, that course to me looks like an absolute dream, and I don't care what anyone says about it. I still want to go out there because it does. When I see it, like, that's probably one of my favorite courses to watch on coverage.
Nick goes,
So,
I don't
anyways.
care what Paul Macbeth says. I think it's a great
Yeah, I
course.
still want to go play it. Like I don't care to, like, when I see people's rollaways at De La, it makes me never want to play that course. But at the same time, I want to play it just because of how revered it is and how cool it's been in the game and everything like that. Like, I would love to go play that tournament just to play it. But anyways, it's so expensive to travel out west right
Did you know
now.
that's
It's
one of
insane.
the only courses that have touch and angle control left in our tour?
Yeah, I know.
I'm just giving it
believe me,
Macbeth's
I would.
opinions.
Yeah. Which one? Are you talking about Milo or De La?
Oh, just the whole conversation about De La rolls, and then
Oh yeah, you're saying what Paul tweeted?
Hunter Thomas was
Yeah,
like, maybe it's time for this to be off tour if this is what we're celebrating.
Yeah.
And then Paul said, this is one of the last few courses that have angle control and touch kind of with it, where then Hunter took it right to the chin and was like, yep, I'll take your opinion over mine.
That totally makes sense.
have
And that's also why I would love to play that, because I'm clearly not a big distance thrower, and so playing a course where maybe I get to throw more fairways and more buzzes, to me that's an incredible feeling. I love doing that. I feel like I'm pretty good at it. So I would like to do that, but at the same time, I don't want to watch my disc roll 500 feet into a different fairway, and
Yeah, but
I feel like I'd be heartbroken.
Before I get into mine, I think it's so crucial for the longevity of this sport and tour to have different types of courses. We saw how, like, if we have too many really open disc golf courses on a traditional ball golf course, just how redundant that can get. It's so important to have mixes. It's great to have events on ball golf courses. It's great to have wooded courses. It's great to have really short and technical courses like De La. I think De La needs to stay on as a Silver Series or something like that. But then it's awesome that we go straight from that event, which also played on a ball golf course the final day, to then going into OTB Open at Swenson golf course. Swenson, where it's really open shots. They didn't have a lot of OB, and you're just throwing far, but still, technical, but just totally different style than you are playing at De La. I think that's awesome. But
Okay.
getting into mine,
Give it.
I can't not rate Maple Hill number one.
right.
Smugs is great as well. Both those courses. We were just talking about it. I'm also going to say Milo, but what I would say is, if that course, if the pavement holes, which are kind of islands, if those were water, I think it would be the most picturesque course that we have. It doesn't have a ton of elevation. It doesn't kind of have that like open ace run hole that a lot of people love, like hole 8 at Maple Hill, hole 6 at Jonesboro, hole 16 at Emporia Country Club. It is missing that, but the greens at Milo are so spectacular. My favorite kinds of holes are holes that go from maybe a wooded tee shot to, opening, but maybe still technical, then entering a green being a wooded protected green. And Milo does a really good job of having multiple shots like that. I've never been there. I'm super jealous. Statmando's meeting up there with Hans and Dion in a couple of weeks now, and I'm not able to be out there. I want to check out that property and really see how all the holes feel, because my one slight kind of knock against it is it has some memorable holes, but I feel like the whole course isn't. It's hard to put it all together. I kind of get mixed up, especially being an East and a West. 36 total holes. It can kind of get confusing, where I think courses, I've played it a lot, so maybe that comes into it, but Maple Hill is just so memorable. There's so many different types of shots that it really sticks out to you. And I'm going to give one last final shout out to my favorite course that I've seen is Tampere. Again, European names get me. But Gatekeeper put out some coverage that was filmed by one of the European companies. It was amazing to watch that. I think it could use some like sprucing up, but they did a few holes where there was just mulch fairways. The trees out there are amazing, and they did a really good job having protected greens from ground shots, where they would put up kind of log, maybe cement things, kind of like Idlewild does with their greens, where it was kind of protected. You couldn't just throw that low shot that would skip and slide right up to it. You had to get it high enough to get it up there, but then when you get it high, then you run into the case of maybe going long. And I think we really need more greens like that are protected in that way. And if you don't get to it, you're putting for a 45, 50 footer instead. So
So
okay.
you just
well, hold on. I'm going to pass it over to Nick for Discura, but I want to say I want to get Maple Hill out of the way. I want to get Fox Run out of the way. I feel like those are both excellent courses. I left them off. I tried to pick something a little bit more obscura. Whatever I'm saying.
Yeah.
And because Nick, you said there was an announcement. Is that true? There's going to be something from Discura?
Yeah. So I'm going to say that really quick. I just want to end it kind of on this really quick. UDisc put out the top 5 courses in every state, right? I know Massachusetts, theirs came out, and Maple Hill got voted number 1, which I think absolutely incredible. That's amazing. My one question is, why does Maple Hill get voted number 1? Is it because of the gold layout, or is it because of the 5 different layouts that they have there? And then it allows it to be literally the greatest spot to play disc golf, in the sense, if you want to play 320 foot holes and in, you play the Reds layout. If you want it a little bit more challenging with a couple water shots, you play white. If you want a little more challenging than that, you play blues, then diamonds, then golds. Like, what is it? Is it literally just about the golds layout, or just because the property in and of itself is phenomenal? Pro shop, food, stuff like that.
I've had this conversation recently with someone. I think it was Mizzou Tigers out here, because I drove them around a little bit instead of making them get an Uber. I was like, I'll bring you over across town.
Nice.
And so we started talking because they actually threw up Eagles Crossing. And I said, I've got a friend named Evan who would like to talk about this. Everyone has their own opinions on it. I got some really cool insight into the owner of that course, though. I'll tell you some of that maybe off air. Something about he owned the ruby red slippers from the Wizard of Oz and sold that off. And that's where he got a lot of his money.
Wow.
So interesting. Anyways, there's more than that I heard that I think would be interesting to talk about. But some are saying that's going to be the nicest course. And I started saying, well, what makes a course? And I said, it's without any reservation. Steve Dodge agrees. I can't speak for him, but I've heard out of his mouth. The nostalgia of Maple Hill is a very large part of why the rating is what it is. It used to be an NT conclusion event for many years. It has the history of longevity of players going out there and traveling to play the MSDGC. I mean, there's just so much that goes into that property that when people walk up, it definitely gives them that extra tick or two above. So even if the venue itself, the actual upkeep, the look, the appearance of every single detail isn't perfect, it's going to get that nod. And I think that's where it's at right now, because courses that are coming in and spending $2 million to put in a venue are going to have a better facility and maybe greens. I mean, look at Eagles Crossing. Whether you like it or not, the course design, look at the way they design on the water edges, all of those features, and just creating the course. So I think, Nick, to answer your question, there's a lot that goes into it. I don't think it's just the gold layout. I don't think that's the answer.
One of my favorite things to do going to Maple Hill, if I only have a little bit of time to play, is actually just 2 putter only rounds on Reds. Like, it's phenomenal, the fact that they have that as an option to go and just play a quick round. Exactly. It's amazing. I've always loved the white layout too. That's always been one of my favorite layouts to play with friends. But anyways.
And I mean, I could go on a tangent on this for hours, but
after show right there.
Yeah.
Whenever I talk to people about getting into disc golf and we're talking about what courses to play, what are the best courses to bring a new friend that's checking out the sport, I always say Maple Hill. One, you get to see how great a disc golf property can be. That's part of it. But really the main reason is Reds is such a fabulous layout and getting the most out of players. It thinks about what that style of player can throw. And when you play it, you still feel like you're playing Maple Hill. You're not, throwing 350 feet over water, but you're playing the same holes that, Paul Macbeth, Ricky Wysocki, Paige Pierce are playing. And it doesn't, it feels like you're playing that hole, even if you're playing a different layout. And it doesn't also, red layout is meant for the red player, as in it's not just you walk up to a hole, you walk 200 feet, you tee off to a pin that's 200 feet short. It's you take in different lines. I mean, one of my favorite holes is 15, which is maybe getting too long, but it's like crisscrossing fairways that each kind of have their own fairway, even though it's crisscrossing in this grid of trees. And the red one is a lot wider than the gold. You like see the red, you walk by that, then you walk to whites, which is a little bit shorter. Then you walk to golds and it's like crazy tight line, even longer. It's so cool. And it's designed so well. Where other courses are just kind of one layout and then they might move up a tee.
I want to defer this conversation to Terry. He's been to more courses than any of us probably ever will be. What do you think? I mean, Maple Hill's up there, and we're not specifically talking about Maple Hill, but Nick brought that question up. I mean, how do you think it factors into the conversation for a good course?
Yeah. I mean, of course, I feel like you guys have all touched on the various components of it. The history that's been created there. But then when you have, it's kind of a self-propelling snowball in a sense too.
Yeah.
When you have players like Paige Pierce and
Adam Hammis,
and just literally
Favorite
almost every
course.
player,
Yeah.
whenever they say, hey, I come to Maple Hill, I come to compete at this event, I love the course, I love the layout, and I love the atmosphere. That's so much of what Steve and his crew
You're right.
have created for all of these years. I mean, I came in the days where, not quite as early as the MSDGC, but I was here when
with your flip camera. I remember.
and honestly, the golf was almost secondary to the tournament at one point because there was an accuracy competition, there was a putting competition, there was ping pong, which turned into sting pong of people just whacking, balls at each other.
Nice.
All of those things that were part of the event, that the pie eating contest, this overall spirit award. There's so many things that place has embodied, and that was the culture in which Steve developed from day one, and the rest of the people here. So that gets talked about.
You're right.
And then it carries over, and then somebody hears it, and then they just kind of reference it. So
Right.
yeah, is it as polished as maybe some of the other courses in some capacity? No, it might not be, but it's so much more than just that. And then it's a course they see every year on camera.
True.
And what's really, I never thought about that impact until many years later, of when people say, oh, I've only seen this course, I need to get there, I need to play it. Oh, I played it, it's way tougher than I thought it was to clear the water on hole 14. And those are all reasons why it continues to, just kind of blossom as it is into even more. So in this case, it's we all in this room and Matt or Nick, everybody agrees that it's this incredible atmosphere, and it's only getting better and bigger, every single year, bigger and better.
So that's all of our answers, Nick. So
there we go.
What's your announcement for Discura?
So if anyone listening, watching, whatever, if you go on DiscuraDG.com and you want to pick up some apparel, use the code Nick and Matt, 10% off for you.
Oh,
so,
nice.
That's even exclusive.
DiscuraDG.com.
That's an exclusive even for me.
It is.
And now,
So my buddies
for
just
Nick and
they set
Matt
it.
Show
They set everything
exclusive.
up just early on. They're actually over there working right now, listening to the show, and they set up the
Wow.
code to make sure that for the Discura
Come
discussions
on.
we'd be able to announce that. So DiscuraDG.com, lifestyle apparel, also UPF rated gear for the sun protection. It's all there. We have some sweet hats as well.
Test
Tournament
out
directors,
that
if you're looking
code.
for wholesale stuff, check it out. DiscuraDG.com, code Nick and Matt, 10% off.
Test out that code, people. Be the first. That's exciting news. Thanks for sharing that, Nick. Discura. I am looking forward to wearing my first. I'm not ordering it because Nick's coming up soon. I'm hoping, Nick, I'm going to say this in front of everybody. I'm hoping you find something my size, my color.
I know a guy who knows a guy who
all
knows
right,
another
we'll see.
guy, and we might be able to pull some strings.
May 27th, everybody. Terry, you coming back for this? The Nick and Matt Show hangout? We're going to a course and playing maybe next week?
Maybe.
No? All right, we'll see.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Keep those super chats rolling, people.
That's
Fund the return trip.
Yeah, we got.
That's how we do it.
We've made enough to pay for 7 gallons of gas for you. So,
All right. Well, we've come to this point in the show, Terry. We really, I mean, I'll speak for myself. I really enjoyed it. I think the chat really enjoyed it, and I believe. And comment if you agree. You liked having him on the Nick and Matt Show. And if we get enough of that, we can just pipe him in every now and then. He can do back-to-back shows Monday night. Terry, you've been doing Smashbox a long time. You're up into 400 episodes now. Is that correct?
Yeah. What did we just top the 400th a few days ago, or last week or 2 weeks ago,
Insane.
something like that? Yeah, it's
400. Legendary.
It's been a long. It certainly has been a very, very long road dating back to.
Are you
2014.
describing your marriage? No,
Yeah, that, too long. Oh.
I'm joking. I feel like people say that. I'm describing something. They're like, are you talking about your marriage? I always thought that was funny.
You're like
Anyways,
secretly,
This is
yeah.
far more consistent. Our
very,
podcast.
very long.
So yeah, it's no, we
Johnny
appreciate
V,
it.
very, very long.
Yes.
Well, that's
Somehow we
cool.
put up.
And I will say this: we're obviously. I think we're. I say we're obviously. That's a Nick and Matt Show term. We say obviously.
Oh, okay.
When we get
Keep
nervous.
the jerky rolling.
Yeah,
and
when we get
we'll
nervous.
see.
We're friends, and what you do at Smashbox, we weren't stupid when we lined you up as the first guest because we said that's gonna get us the views, baby. And then we had Simon on after you to confirm that,
Oh.
but it worked. So, and I think you were on the same time as Simon. We had this big echo reverb thing going on. So it's kind of like that was a long time ago
We had
for
a whole
us.
50 viewers. Yeah.
10
We've
episodes
come a
out
long
from
way.
100. 10 episodes out from 100. We want to thank you for coming here to be in studio. You probably had a lot of other things you can do. You got an early flight in the morning. Appreciate it. Nick or Evan, you have any final words? All right. Terry, any final words?
No, I just want to say thank you guys. You guys are killing it. It's awesome. You know, we've seen so many different sets of media, and not just a live podcast that people are doing. They're doing a fully post-produced audio-only podcast. There's just been so many things that have come about throughout all the years, and it's awesome to see it all. I feel like there is truly a niche for everyone, and you can decide whether it's you like the players or the people or the commentators or the content, whatever it might be. We have now so much diversity, and there's so many opportunities out there. And I would certainly say that to everyone else that's out there and thinking, wow, there's just really not a podcast or a show that discusses blank.
Do it.
Guess what? That's your open invitation to do it yourself.
Exactly.
And it's never been easier. It's a big leap of faith and some commitment, and you might only have 9 viewers for the first 9 months. It doesn't matter. I fully encourage everybody. There's so many unique personalities within our sport that I love it when I see people take on a very specific role or task and then go and excel at it. It's absolutely awesome to see. So I just got to say again, thank you guys for having. Of course, Tuesday nights we have our Smashbox TV podcast.
If you're listening live, it's tomorrow.
Yes.
If you're listening tomorrow, it's today.
Exactly. And
Tuesday.
And I keep threatening that I'm going to do some other forms of podcasts. I really enjoy interviewing people. If I'm on alone, I just ramble for hours. So I need to be concise and
I don't know
interview
anything
people.
about that.
So look for one of those maybe to start up someday. I got to figure out the exact format that I want of it, but keep killing it, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having us. And thanks to all the viewers out there that tuned in and watched or listened in the post-production.
Yeah. They say flattery is the greatest source. Or no, imitation is
We
the greatest
always
source
screw
of
this
flattery.
up.
There you
Yeah.
go. Imitation is the greatest source of flattery. And we weren't stupid when we were imitating Smashbox in the beginning. We took what was good, and then we took what you suggested, as in like saying, take what you want that you think might be missing and go for it. And that's what we did. Go check out Smashbox, everybody. It's a show that I listen to. You should as well. Tuesday evenings, usually. Follow their social media. Terry's on the road a lot. All right, Nick, we've made it to that point in the show. Close it out.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Thank you for being active in the chat. We want to thank Terry for coming in, Gannon for also coming in. Don't forget to step into the Smashbox tomorrow night for their live show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give us a comment, check us out on all your favorite podcast platforms and all that jazz. Tell someone you love them this week. We'll catch you in the next one.
That's right. Peace out. Nick, you're awesome. Terry, you're awesome. Evan, you're awesome. See you out there.
The Nick and Matt Show, a disc golf podcast designed for you, the disc golfer. Find the Nick and Matt Show on your favorite podcast platforms or join the conversation live on YouTube.